am.
Hey, yes. So, usually what kind of...
All right.
We can start now, or
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
something to say before it?
Well, good. I'll adjust the power settings. And we are good. All right. Anyway, hello.
Hello.
One start for me. What brings you to Latvia, and what are your impressions so far?
Oh, wow. The reason I'm here is because I'm traveling around the world right now. And in the recent 6 months, I'm traveling in the European countries. So my plan is visit all the European countries. So that's bring me here.
All of them?
Yes, all of them.
So
So
it
I
means
only have 2 countries left.
So you already went to 26 countries?
Yes.
Wow.
So I will finish in Finland. Yeah.
All right. So, and what are your impressions so far? You have seen 26 countries in Europe. What are your impressions of Latvia so far?
Before Latvia, I've traveled in Poland and Lithuania. I think Latvia is definitely very different from the Lithuania, because in Lithuania, I've seen Vilnius is more influenced by the Polish culture, but here I feel like it's more like Nordic culture, like Swedish, especially in the old town. Is a lot of very beautiful for architects, very beautiful like Swedish style, like warehouse,
probably,
and some like German style buildings too. And I think that's one thing is very different from the Vilnius. And I think this city is not for in Vilnius. Also, most of the building was destroyed during after the Second World War. But here I think it's more buildings remains, so there survives.
I guess so. Might be.
Yeah,
the
especially that the church, the Catholic, there's a wooden tower, but it's destroyed during the war, but it's still recovered. But the wall is still there, so it's main part of the cathedral is still there.
You mean in Vilnius or in Latvia?
In here, in
Riga?
In Riga, I think it's more buildings remains here. So I think it's more
probably.
Yeah, probably. It's for me. I feel like so, and older here, and more beautiful. To be honest, I think here is more beautiful.
I've heard that.
Especially the architect.
I've really heard beautiful. That. Yeah, it might be the case just because of the old town. The tourists like Riga better.
So
I've heard that.
Today I walk around the city, and by far I really like this city. Yes, for this beautiful architect. I need more time to discover this city. Maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will see more things. Maybe I will go to the museum. I will try more local food. Yeah.
Is Latvia the 26th or the 27th country for you in Europe?
In Europe, how many countries are there? In Europe?
Do you mean just the subcontinent Europe, or do you mean the European Union?
European countries, all the European countries.
Well, then did you go also to, let's say, Serbia?
Yeah, so the Balkan countries, or there are about 12 Balkan countries.
Right.
So there are Central Europe, West Europe, and then Nordic. Yeah, I think.
How did you decide to do that? What went wrong?
At the beginning, I just wanted to quit my job and travel.
So what was your job?
Before, I was a financial analyst. I'm doing.
It could be banal, but is it the word banal? Yeah, I suppose you found it sometimes dull or uninteresting. The work.
It's quite a good job. I really like my job because it's my passion. During the job, I can help the investors to.
So why did you
do their investment? But I wanna make some changes in my life. I wanna see this world, and I really am obsessed with traveling. So
that's interesting.
So I say, okay, I will quit my job, but it's really difficult decision to make because most of my colleagues and my boss, And just told me Edison is not good idea to create your job. You work in financial area. If you don't work for 2 years, when you come back, you cannot get the same salary as before because you're not in this industry, out of this industry for 2 years, and the results change a lot in these 2 years. Even my boss, they want to give me a better offer when I want to quit my job.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really attractive to me. But I already made my mind to quit my job. So I say, I will still quit my job. Yeah, I will see this world. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
So do you have plans? What do you want to do after you see the world? Because I think you can manage to see the world in 3 years or so.
Yeah, I do have a plan. I'm trying to find some work to do during my trip.
Do you blog?
Yes, I'm trying to do that, but it's quite difficult. It's not. You can earn small money. It's not enough to cover your travel cost.
Well, if you have a smartphone, you can at least make the content and afterwards see how to actually put it together. So people are coming to your site, to your blog. Or probably
maybe
some
better
videos.
than me. Yeah, I'm just keep on updating something in my blog.
Do you use also videos?
No, it's a special application just for investors. So I'm writing something about doing investment in different countries. And
wait a second, you are describing your travel to specific investment people?
Not really. I'm more focused on the economy of one country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just writing some opportunities, like for instance, the real estate opportunity. And this kind of stuff.
And you are writing that for specifically financial people.
Yes.
It's not for the general public.
Yes. No. I'm focused on very small group of people because on that application I had some followers there, and they are all investors.
All right.
Yeah. So some of them are very professional investors. I have to write something. Also very professional content for them.
You are not working anymore, right?
I'm not working.
But still you are trying to sort of make the communication with your clients?
Sometimes yes. Because I'm thinking about have to work after this trip. Yeah. I wanna even the worst scenario happen, I cannot find a job. I cannot find a way to have enough money during the trip. I think I will go back to Hong Kong and work, and I still keep on following the financial industry, so it's easier for me to find a job after it.
Is it really possible for you to not have the opportunity to get a job? It seems like you would be fairly competent even after 2 years of absence.
It's easy to find a job, but it's not easy to find a good job.
What do you define as a good job? Because you are living in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's a bit different than the rest of China, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's very, very different.
Because Hong Kong is a hodgepodge of international business, I don't know for how many years, probably for 100 years or more.
Yes, because of it used to be a British colony for more than 100 years.
It's totally, culturally it should be, or the business culture should be definitely...
Yeah. British really, they bring a lot of good things to Hong Kong, especially their system, their legal system, their financial system.
Do Hong Kong people drink a lot of tea?
Yes, I think.
Oh, actually, Chinese people drink a lot of tea, right?
Yeah, but Hong Kong is more mixed. They're like mixed with Chinese culture and the Western culture, so they like both tea and coffee. So one of the most famous drink in Hong Kong is called yin yang, which is a mix of coffee and tea.
Wait a second, put together?
Put together, yes.
Is it good?
It's really good. We drink it every day. You can.
But does it have sugar in it or something like that?
Yeah, put some milk and also.
Yeah, otherwise, can you imagine
sugar.
having tea and just plain coffee together? Oof.
So you need to choose the right coffee and the right tea.
And
The-
sugar, milk, or
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that?
So
Yeah,
tea have
alright.
to be black tea because black tea is strong. It's very strong. Because coffee is strong. You have to choose a tea also very strong.
Why?
So when these strong things come
why
together,
strong? Why not strong and
if it's strong
middle
night
strong?
mix, if the coffee is much more stronger than the tea, then you can only have you taste like coffee, not like
Oh,
mix.
you mean the flavor?
The
has to be
flavor.
strong. Oh,
yeah.
I
yeah.
guess so.
So they use this very too strong.
Oh, wait a second. It
things.
sounds like a big, almost like a Red Bull combination. That you would be drinking
Yeah.
a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, it's quite popular. And most
Does
like-
does it allow people to work harder and more, or is it just for fun?
it's just cultural things. I think
Really?
because most of the Hong Kong local people, they
Hong Kong? What?
Hong Kong local people they study abroad, and for instance they study in UK or study in
Mhm.
in the US, so they get used to have a coffee every day. They cannot live without coffee anymore.
Yeah.
They get used to it. So that's why I think in my company it's more people will go for the coffee.
You are still calling it your company, like your
my
workplace,
like my
your former company.
previous company. Yeah, it's like they still I think more of my colleagues will go for coffee. It's really make them wake up, and also they are get used to it. They cannot.
Sounds regular
Yeah.
workplace. Yes, sounds
Yeah.
like a regular workplace.
Oh, I sometimes I mix together.
Yeah, I've never
I do
heard-
by myself, mix tea and coffee together. I can do by myself.
I've never heard of that, but yeah, I guess if you like it, why
Oh.
not?
I tried once, like in Arabic countries.
What?
Usually in Arabic countries, like they usually have the Turkish coffee, like Turkish coffee,
Oh,
and mix with the Turkish tea. Turkish tea is black tea.
They do that?
I do that because I want to have the taste of Hong Kong. That's why I do it. Like, people think I'm weird. Why I do this?
Well, it's definitely
Yeah.
not popular.
For me, I just
I've never heard of it, but yeah, I mean, you could mix everything if you wanted to.
I like this fusion things. I
You
like
could,
to
you could mix all caffeinated drinks, right? You could mix a cola with coffee if you wanted.
Yeah,
to.
exactly. I
Yeah.
also tried some weird mix. Like I think in Kiev, in Ukraine. I found a very special thing: the mix of coffee with orange juice. They have I think in the Kiev.
Did it
Yeah, you will
taste
see a
good?
lot of coffee shop. You always can find this in the menu. They always have the coffee with orange juice.
Did it taste good?
Not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
sound
terrible. It's really not a good mix because orange is sour and the coffee is bitter. So when you combine this bitter and sour, it's not a good mix. But some people like it.
And you say that Ukrainians like that type of drink?
I found that I don't know if how popular. Probably you can ask other Ukrainians, but in Kiev,
Yeah,
you can find a lot.
Next time I meet
You
some
can ask a
Ukrainians, I need to
Ukrainian.
ask them.
Yeah.
What's the juice coffee about?
They have they have maybe other juice mixed too, not only in orange.
Yeah, it's a bit strange that you would like to mix juices with coffee, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it would be a combination to really enjoy. Maybe the Ukrainians are a little bit crazy. Who knows?
I don't know.
Maybe
yeah.
they like
Maybe
it.
I think they have this in other countries too, but based on my experience, I only found it in Ukraine.
Well,
so
if
for
you
me, it's
would-
quite interesting and quite new thing. I always want to try new things. That I ordered it, I found it's not good. It's not my type, but some people like it. But they still have market because some people will order it or it won't on the menu.
Maybe it's just because to make the tourists wonder about Kiev. You as a tourist go to Kiev. Oh, look at that! Wow, never seen juice with coffee. Wow.
Yes.
So
Could be one
They don't-
reason.
because I think sometimes you have you could know this better. Sometimes I think places where tourists go invent something just for the tourists, so the tourists would see that type of thing and think, oh, look at this, they have something like this over here, but really
Maybe,
what it is just specifically we know that tourists will be coming, let's surprise them and with something made up.
Okay, that's a good explanation for it.
That would be a good strategy. I mean, you can definitely make and a surprise, and then when you see that, you will go back to your home and say, they do it like this and that. And
it's a good strategy, but I think most people they won't try twice. Most of people they won't try twice, but of course if they're travelers they won't try twice.
They just try. Just try once and that's it.
It's not common they go back there again. They try again. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Just
for sure. So what is your total count of countries that you have visited so far in the world?
So I didn't count, but I think nearly 100 countries.
Why wouldn't you count? That's the most important thing, right?
I cannot count it every day, but I know it's around 100. But I gotta have my 100 countries soon.
Oh, wait a second. Could you actually just determine the number by looking at your passport? Because does each country give you some stamp in the passport?
Yes.
Well, then,
but some countries don't have stamp, so you cannot, like, let's say the Schengen area. Of course, in Schengen area there's only one border.
Right.
So if I go here to the Estonia, of course there's no stamp.
Right.
Yeah, but I've been there. Yeah.
Well, but so wait a second.
You mean attitude?
So what's your stamp for Europe? Where did you get first into Europe? Which country?
Wow, I've been several times because my trip is I travel in Europe for 1 month, and then I go to Middle East, and I go back again, and I go to Latin America, and I go back again Europe. Oh, where to start? I don't know how to start with it, but I think probably first country could be Portugal.
If you do back and forth, then it's simply that you come many times to Europe.
Yeah, right? Because for my passport, I can only stay 3 months in Schengen areas in every 6 months. So I cannot stay more than 3 months in every 6 months.
But in 3 months, you could actually visit all of Europe, right?
No, impossible. That's why I have to go outside. I go outside of Schengen area.
So why do you think you wouldn't be able to travel 40 plus countries in 3 months?
It's possible, but it's useless. Why did you always on the road? I don't know culture or don't know anything about country. Just on the bus. Yeah, I can do that.
So what's your average stay in a country? How long do you stay usually?
Depends. Usually from at least 4 days to a month, or maybe 1 month.
Well, a month sounds a lot.
Yeah, I stay in Spain more than 1 month because I'm studying Spanish there.
What?
Because I'm studying Spanish there.
You mean language?
Language. That's why I stay there a long time.
Why would a Chinese dude learn Spanish? That doesn't sound right. Because Chinese are more than Spanish. You see?
It's like a trend in the future. Probably I think this language.
What kind of trend?
Okay, now.
What kind of trend are you talking?
Especially if you're doing business, it's from China to this Latin America, it's a lot of opportunities. Yeah,
But does China do a lot of business in Latin America?
Not. Yes, I think they're doing a lot of business, but in the future there's more and more. Probably heard about China before. Some countries recently they have a diplomatic relationship with China recently.
Which countries?
For instance, El Salvador, Dominican Republic.
All right, but those are
Panama last year.
But those are really, really developing countries, right? It's not like you would do business with them like with Europe or America. It's totally different.
It's just like when you have the diplomatic relationship with them, and of course you bring much more. They have a trade deal.
But wouldn't you just talk with them English?
I think it's the best way you understand countries to speak their language.
Well, that's a sort of really forthcoming strategy, but it would be difficult to do that in each and every country.
Yeah, right? It is. But I'm trying to get few words like hello, thank you.
Oh, well,
at least
then you're just posing. you just do those greetings and salutations, right?
At least I have to learn these words.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
That's definitely popular. That's definitely popular to do that.
Oh, sometimes fun interesting is like you find I usually will ask for like how do you say cheers?
Wow.
Yeah, you find So a lot of countries are similar.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
especially travel in a European country, you find why is it so similar some country.
Yeah, because think about it. I mean, you have
Yeah, like in Balkan countries, so
three
yeah, they
branches
got
of
the Slavic
languages.
language. So yes, it can be surprise you. Oh, it's similar. Yeah, it's the
So,
same.
so are you saying that you are actually interested in travel, not just because you like to travel, but also because you see business opportunities? Did you start to travel because of your work or no?
No, but I'm really interested in the economy of one country. So I really have to did some research on every country
Mm-hmm.
and write something on my blog. And it's very good for my career because before I work, I also introduce different financial products to my investors. Not only the financial product in China,
What do you
but
mean?
also the financial product around the world.
So what do you mean, for instance, as a financial product?
Financial product like stocks, bonds,
But those are regular financial products,
funds.
right?
Yeah, but you can invest in other country too. For instance, I can buy a government
sure.
bond of the Turkey.
Sure.
I can buy a government bond of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
If you want to invest in their bond,
Mm.
it's so different. There's this Islamic bond. It's very different. They don't have an interest rate
Yeah.
because they're so different arrangement. And also for the economy, you need to research deep in their economy. So I think for this trip, I can travel in their country and to see how the people live there, how their economy really is.
All right.
It's like I do some side visit. I will understanding more.
All right.
of
So what would be your strategy? Let's say you're coming to Latvia, right?
Yeah.
You want to understand the economy, the local or regional economy.
Yeah.
So what type of questions do you ask, and where do you ask them?
I will start from the salary, people's monthly salary, and
Do you mean that
the
you
cost
just,
of living.
Do you mean that you just go to the statistics?
I can find it on the
Online?
official website, of course, because they have this is the data they have to announce every year.
So you would be Googling salary in Latvia, for instance?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have some database. You can check all this information on it, like Bloomberg. You can check all these financial indicators through Bloomberg.
All right.
Yeah, but it's better you to just go to the country and just really ask for people. Maybe it's different.
You sure?
Mm,
You sure?
Sometimes the people tell you something different. How they feel like some country, their economy is very good, but people don't feel it.
Yeah, that's on point.
Yeah, like other country are super rich,
Mm-hmm.
but their people are
Well,
really shit.
well, the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the numbers don't lie, but they don't give a whole picture. Maybe that could be the case.
Yeah, maybe their government, a lot good government. Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
not, so would you just see the statistics and then go to see yourself?
Yeah,
Go to
I
the
usually
country?
of course I will check on Google
Hmm.
for their economy, and also I will ask for people like the cost of living, like the salary, like the real estate price. I check
I guess that depends on which region you mean, right? Because
Uh-huh.
let's say for the capital
capital
in Latvia, right? You definitely have different regions
Yeah.
with different price ranges,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
outside of the capital,
Yeah, I think very different, but they
different
do
size.
have this data in the website. You can check what's the price.
mhm.
Yeah, but probably it's different from what people said. Maybe sometimes a little bit different.
Well, look, the biggest problem I think with real estate deals is that many times it's related to tax payments,
Mm-hmm.
right? So according to the number that you are agreeing, or
Mhm.
let's say selling,
Mm-hmm.
you would pay some form of percentage in tax.
Mm-hmm.
So people are inclined to try to mitigate that by declaring, let's say, price 100 as the selling price,
Mm.
but actually
Makes
they
it
get,
lower.
but to write it lower officially, but have some form of deal.
Okay, but I
behind
think
that.
there's a
But I guess that's
institution
everywhere.
they will evaluate your house. Probably they will sometimes they will do it, but they found if you
Well,
write too low, it's not.
it definitely depends.
They
on
will ask you to pay for the tax.
It depends on what type of deal you do. If you need it for a bank, a bank will definitely ask you to have a real estate assessment evaluation.
Yeah.
But if you just, let's say you have a home that you want to sell, you can just agree with the buyer. Yeah, no real estate evaluator would be involved. There's no need for them, unless they want to, right? They can have that.
Yeah.
So
but you still need to pay a tax when you sell one apartment. To
sure,
people.
the tax is there, but again, just because it depends on the price, the sum, right? In certain situations, people would be interested in actually having the sum officially lower, so the tax payment is lower. Okay. Well, but it's all over.
I think in this there's an institution will do it. Like in Hong Kong, I have to pay for the tax for every house we owned every year. It's very low, but like
real estate
real estate tax very low, but depends on your value of your house. I still need to pay.
No, I'm not sure.
500 average size apartment, you pay like 500 euros in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Sometimes if in a certain year they don't they just examine it, like you don't need to pay for it because the government won't give you some favor in some year, but sometimes you need to pay for it, but not much, unless you have a very huge apartment in Hong Kong. But there's a institution that will evaluate your house price. You cannot do by yourself because you are not professionist. You cannot evaluate the value of your house.
Let's say
they will say depends on the area, which area you live. So the house price is price. They will give you exactly the price, not you. It is not you evaluate the price, but the government.
Wait a second, but do you have the market prices then, or not?
Yeah, they do have a market price.
Because for instance, you mentioned real estate tax.
The thing they use
here we pay also real estate tax.
Yeah.
But the sum is according to we call it a cadastre. I'm not sure what's the real name for in English. Let's just see, but I think it might be the same.
Yeah, I think the price is
cadastre
based on the average price of the past.
No, well, at least not here.
Months?
I mean, you could have the cadastre.
I'm not sure, but I think
the cadastre sum could be, let's say, 30,000. When the market price, the selling price, could be 160,000. So, but I think it's everywhere.
They use the lower one for the tax basis. You can always
they try
use the lower ones, so you can pay less tax.
Well, they try to do that, but it's everywhere. As far as I know, that's everywhere the case. Because usually tax systems, I don't know why, but I'm guessing because of people like you who travel a lot and see different countries. Usually tax systems are very similar. Very, very similar. I mean, you of course have other types of systems as well, but I think most of the countries, at least those who are members of the World Trade Organization, they might have similar tax systems. So you would have the similar tax optimization risks and tax evasion risks. I think it's quite similar.
Yes.
But you know what I wanted to know about Hong Kong?
Yeah.
I've seen a piece on YouTube that Hong Kong has tall buildings with big holes in them.
Yes.
So what's the reason behind that? Because the video was saying it's because of feng shui, and I don't believe that. It might be some practical engineering. Because I had a Chinese dude here recently, and he said maybe it's because of the wind.
Yeah, you can explain it in two ways. The first is technologically, you can say it's because of the wind. There's a lot of typhoon in Hong Kong. But
is it because other places don't have that for winds?
Imagine if you're during the typhoon, like this year, there's a really really big typhoon hit Hong Kong.
Right.
Yeah, 1 month ago. If there's if the typhoon is hit the building on the front, if it's have a hole, it will spread. I think
but other places in the world don't have those holes, right? But they have typhoons.
But they have explanations for superstition. In Hong Kong, it's very called feng shui. Yes,
Is it related to that?
We really believe it. It's kind of
because that dude from China did say no, it's not really.
Oh, in Hong Kong it is. So, there's one professionist they called feng shui shi, which is doing this kind of job.
Wait a second, but wasn't feng shui meant to be something with energies? I always thought that the feng shui was somebody just adjusts their furniture because of some energy.
Kind of. They will.
So is
put
feng shui
in the right direction? So
yeah, is feng shui
in favor of you?
Is feng shui something related to religion or not?
I don't know, but it could be. Could be
Cause
related to some folk
is Buddhism, right? The most common religion is Buddhism.
You can say that.
So there's no relationship between Buddhism and feng shui, right?
I cannot say it's about religion in this case, but I just could be maybe have some.
But you said it's superstition. Is it superstition?
More like people sometimes they cannot distinguish what is religion and superstition. It's like between them.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So wait a second. Are you saying that the souls are related to feng shui?
Yes, that's a larger explain.
That's
we more like the latter explanation because I believe it's feng shui. Okay, for instance, during a ceremony of my former company, they will hire some people. These people they are master of feng shui.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he will walk around the office and to give us a device how to put your stuffs, where to put the computer.
But see, here's my question: why don't you know that yourself? Why would you need some dude coming in?
Because we are not master of it.
Well, how do you become a master of it? Do you go to school for that?
Just I don't know. Maybe they do have this. It's kind of scientifically can be true because they can use the statistics. Yeah. So according to the statistics, maybe this is the right way. So.
But you mean that you have masters of feng shui who are like lawyers or any other kind of profession?
Yeah, just like a profession only suggests you how to like improve your feng shui.
But if you would like to do that, if you would be, let's say you are traveling now around the world, you're coming back to China and say, I want to be a master of feng shui, I've seen the world, I know what's up.
No, that's the thing
How do you do that?
I totally don't understand, so I don't want to involve in it.
But maybe they
and I don't believe it.
But maybe they don't as well. They just do it for the money.
Yeah, it's true,
and
but
as long
as people believe it, just have market, so they can. We are.
There you have
our company are big financial companies, but our company still believing in it. Especially my boss believing in it. It is not me believing in it, but my boss believing in it.
Maybe it's more ceremonial, because think about it this way: in Europe, many times, but maybe I'm just guessing too much. Many times you have priests coming in for some ceremonial. Let's say you have a grand opening of some whatever, maybe a building or whatever, and then you have a priest just giving his blessings.
It's different from the open ceremony, because for open ceremony in Hong Kong they usually will hire the lion dance.
What?
The lion dance. It's
a lion dance.
Yes, they invite for like more than 10 people, and they have the lion and they dance like a lion.
I thought you guys had dragons.
You can Google it. Lion dance. It's very popular in Hong Kong, especially for the open ceremony.
I thought you had the dragons.
Also,
now you're saying lions.
Let
me just see what's up with the lion dance.
I think it's lion dance.
This one?
Yes.
Looks like carnival.
Yeah, you can see.
Oh, but that's in America.
Oh yeah, it's cool. There are a lot of Chinese communities there, so you can see it.
Or maybe I should just write in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's so common. It's nowadays. Yeah, especially for ceremony.
New Year?
For the open ceremony of the company.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's see open ceremony of the company. See.
And what's the point?
Like ceremony, but it's not feng shui. Feng shui is another thing.
It's a good beat. Do.
It's quite difficult. It's a very difficult to learn. You have to stand on that.
Damn, that's a good beat.
It's quite difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually for 1 night with 1 people. Yeah. We like the red color. Red color is good for the open ceremony. I mean the color of the lion. Usually
The
red.
corner?
Corner.
The color?
This color is yellow.
Yeah.
Usually they use the red one.
Really?
Yes. This means you're.
And is it related also to Feng Shui?
It's a cultural thing in Hong Kong. Very cultural.
So this ceremony is just cultural.
Yes.
It's just traditional almost.
It's a traditional, yeah.
So but the master of Feng Shui is
Feng
not
Shui
traditional.
is a different thing.
Oh, interesting.
Feng Shui is like something really master who can tell you what to do to keep away from the bad luck, get away from the ghost. Like for instance, for my on my desk of my in my desk in the office, I put a mirror on the back of the computer. My desk is direct to another building.
All right.
Yeah. So, like for instance, this is my desk.
Yeah.
So the wall is against here. That
right.
wall is a transparent wall, so you can see the outside. And you put a mirror at the back of the computer. So every time if something bad happened to you, and it will reflect to the other buildings.
But then the other building gets the negative thing.
Yeah, so that the other building also put a mirror here, so that they reflect back to my place, and then reflect to them too. It's like it's quite common in Hong Kong. You will see a lot of they use the CD, use the you know the CD. They use the CD because CD like a mirror. They
CD?
put the CD, yes. Yeah, as a mirror to reflect the bad luck or ghost or something else.
All right.
That's how I have one, but sometimes we make fun of it because you say the building opposite our building also do the same thing, so it's meaningless. Yeah, but it's kind of cultural things always.
But do you think that it is changing? I mean, with the new generation, do they still want those traditions?
I think it's mainly for businessmen. They believe in it. Some people are rich. Some people are rich.
Does Jack Ma believe in it?
You should ask him.
No, but what do you think? Have you heard of him saying something about?
I didn't hear about that.
Because I would imagine you guys coming, let's say, up in the 2000s and now in the new age, you probably would be so influenced by just all the media, all the culture that's happening technology-wise. That these things could be just
but sometimes you cannot
a thing of the past.
Distinguish between the superstition and the culture. You can see it's a cultural thing, or you can see that it's a superstition. It's really cannot.
Well, sometimes superstition becomes tradition, right?
Yes.
Something that you do because of superstition becomes tradition.
Yeah.
But
for me, I think it's a waste of time and money, useless. But it's really common in Hong Kong, and everyone do it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but see, you are saying, well, I don't see the point, but it's common, so it means you and the next generation, after you, would probably find it more and more useless.
Maybe, yes.
Because now, look, you've traveled to almost 100 countries, or around 100 countries.
Yeah.
How many buildings have you seen with CDs facing other buildings? See? Not that much.
But
Not
you
that
can
much.
see something different that will separate you in some countries. Not like this, but something else. But still cannot explain. I will ask them why they do this. Yes.
Well, in that way, but yeah, see, we
Mhm.
have religious things. For instance, you have,
Mhm.
I don't know why, but they paint in the eastern part of Latvia. They paint many frames of windows in blue,
Hmm.
and it had to do something with I think the Orthodox Church, and something with not letting flies come in.
Flies?
Yeah. Well, or
Is the
insects,
flies-
or insects in general.
Flies, they are hate blue color. They cannot stand
Doesn't
with
yeah,
blue
it doesn't
color.
sound logical, but I've heard of such explanations that it has to do something with the religion that is blue, because many churches also have prominent blue features, especially Orthodox. And yeah, the second one was that so that flies don't come in. Yeah, but no, of course, there's no real evidence that would say that yeah, the blue color distracts flies.
Okay. Tomorrow I will go there and check if it's true.
Well, you would need to.
Are there many Orthodox church here, or
you
not
would,
many?
I guess. Well, the main Orthodox would be the cathedral, but that's more in gold.
I saw one, in the gold.
That's more in gold. But other places you would definitely see many blue aspect on the facade, especially blue things. Not sure why, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they had to pick some color,
To
right?
this extent, it's like similar with this phenomenon in Hong Kong. Kind of, you cannot judge its superstition or.
Well,
culture or religious.
I'm actually looking at this without any judgment. I just see it as some form of original practice. It's just that seems that this practice was probably invented when people still wrote with feathers, right? And nowadays people are just going like this every day, and probably in Hong Kong as well. So these types of traditions would be probably somewhere left alone in the near future. That's what I
think
expect.
so.
Because
Yeah.
think about it this way.
Like for me, I don't believe it at all. I don't believe it at all. Yeah.
Have you seen anything in Hong Kong that's totally different from let's say Western Europe? Because I would imagine Hong Kong is probably just like Western Europe but with more Asian people. Because you have tall buildings, right? You have financial districts, you have markets, you have.
It's really big question. In what ways Hong Kong different from the Europe? I think.
Because it's bigger.
The first thing is Hong Kong is it's not only influenced by the British culture but also Chinese culture. They have a perfect mix. Yeah, like for instance, they have the festival of the Easter, Christmas, and also have the festival of the Chinese, all the Chinese festivals.
Well,
holidays.
I guess people like to party in Hong Kong.
Yes, much more. I think people in Hong Kong like party much more than in mainland China. Yes. Yeah, because I like this kind of culturally mix. Like for instance, they mixed with the food. Typical Hong Kong crazy is really mix of Chinese food and the Western food.
I would guess a lot of rice.
Yes, they also eat the pasta. They also eat the pasta.
Oh.
But they use.
Oh wait a second, you mean noodles, right?
I mean pasta. They really eat pasta, like spaghetti, like different kind of pasta.
I thought noodles were popular all over.
Also
China.
the pasta, and then we put pasta like for one of the famous pasta in the breakfast. We put pasta in a soup.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Noodle soup. Yeah, noodle soup.
That's really pasta. Yeah, you can call it noodle. Sometimes it's different.
What's the difference between pasta and noodles?
For noodles, it's more. We don't have much variety of shapes of noodles like in Italy. We just noodles is more just like spaghetti, like the same shape of spaghetti, but some are thin, some are longer, some are shorter, but the shape is all spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
is
what I mean.
noodle. Yeah, they say noodles from China. Yeah, and pasta, they have some really special kind of pasta. It really don't looks like noodle. Like they have spaghetti looks like noodle, but some are really don't looks like noodle. But I cannot name it probably.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So, like macaroni.
Macaroni, exactly. Like macaroni is very popular in Hong Kong at breakfast.
Really?
Yes.
But
In a
what-
soup.
In a soup?
Yes.
Ah, so it's
Macaroni in a
macaroni soup.
Mm-hmm.
So you like soup? A lot of soups.
Yeah, they have a soup have different, very mixed kind of Chinese food and Western food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is your conclusion so far? Where do you see or eat the tastiest food so far?
Here,
No, all over.
over the
In
world.
the world.
Well, I'm already a foodie. This question is so very big for me. I just start from the different continent.
Mm-hmm.
In the Asian countries, my favorite food is Thai food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Thai food is it's famous for its different kind of herbs and chilies.
Spices, right?
Yeah, herbs chilies are so special. You never tasted before.
Mm.
Yeah, and then they have the Thai curry, which is mixed with spices and coconut. Yeah, and the Thai foods have a lot of seafood.
Well, it's like
And
Chinese food.
They
have
use a
also.
way of Chinese, like they stir fry it.
Yeah.
It's the man how the Chinese food was cooked. Also in Thailand, they also stir fry the food
Mhm.
and put a lot of sauces, chili sauce, herbs, and everything mixed together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very exotic taste. Yeah.
Really?
So I
That
like, I
is
like Thai food. It's
No,
very
it
good.
sounds like you would be eating that kind of stuff also in Hong Kong.
Yeah, but a different kind of mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Hong Kong is more mix of British with Chinese.
All right.
Thailand is their indigenous herbs, spices when they mix together, quite spicy that food.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah.
But is it good to eat so much spices?
It is good.
Do people in Thailand live long? Do you know? Because if
You need to check on the average
if you
life
if you
expectancy.
if you say that you usually check out the statistics about countries, wouldn't that be one of those things? What's the longevity in a country
You
to
think
see the economy?
your question is how the spicy have the negative influence on the people's life expectancy?
Yeah, and if you would know because
You
when
can
you
do
go
this
to countries,
research. Oh, I'm telling you something interesting. I'm from Sichuan province in China.
Alright.
Very west of China.
all right.
In this province,
Wait a second. Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
You say province.
How
How many people are we talking in a province?
Sichuan province have the largest population among China. It have 100 million people.
So why do you
More.
call it a province? I remember
In China, we call province. Like in US, we call states. In India, they have called something else, but we call province.
So the
Province
word
is
province is usually
like a
just a
state.
municipality and sort
Yes.
of, all right.
Yeah,
Because usually for us, province would mean it's a little small, so
it means
some small region
you can
with,
see like a
with
state.
a couple of thousand people, perhaps. That's a province.
It's like a state.
Like the French use the word Provence,
Okay.
right? It's definitely not with 100 million.
Yeah.
A Provence would be really just because you've probably been to France, right?
Yes.
So did you go? Because they use two
Mhm.
they use the same word for two places, right? One is the place called Provence,
Uh-huh.
and the second one is just the countryside,
Okay.
right?
So you mean the province in France means just a village?
Basically, just a
okay.
remote place where people live, but usually it means really just maybe a couple of thousand, like a set of
Yes.
villages.
But
So
it's
yeah,
in
all right.
French. But anyway, like in China
I
we
get
call
it.
it province.
You have 100 million.
So
in
now
your
you know
province.
a province is not a village in China. It's like a state. It's
So
quite
how
big.
So yes, it would be
Yeah.
much bigger than Latvia, right? Your province.
Much more bigger. Yeah, but in the far west of China. So what's the most specialty of that? My province is a food. They have the most spicy food in the world.
Really?
It's called
Wait,
Sichuanese food.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
You can Google
Because I think Latin America has the spiciest food.
Mexican, but Sichuanese
Maybe
food is
Mexican.
more. Sichuanese food is so one of the most special cuisine in the world. You know, in China we have so many different provinces. Every province the food is different, but Sichuanese food is the most popular food among China. So you see how special that food there is.
All right.
Yeah, because they use a lot of different kind of spices, chili peppers. Like more than 10 kind of chili pepper. All chili pepper tastes different.
All
Different kind of spicy. Can be strong spicy, can be mild spicy, can be spicy with special flavor.
All right.
It's all can be a combination of it. And we put a lot of spices for cuisine. And apart from the spicy, we put Sichuan pepper in it. It's a very special pepper called Sichuan pepper. It will make you feel lung.
What?
It means if you, for instance, you have the pain in your teeth. If you eat that Sichuan pepper,
All right.
you will feel it will release your pain.
Is
You
it,
will like feel-
is it anti-inflammatory?
No feel.
Oh, you mean numb?
No. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's-
Like
That doesn't sound right. Why would you eat something that numbs your mouth?
that makes it so special. When you mix with all the chilies, very spicy, with that Sichuan pepper, you have the
You don't feel
spicy
the
and the
spice.
lung. But you feel spicy, but different kind of spicy. So special.
That sounds ridiculous. Why would you do that? You have something that adds the flavor, the taste, and then you have something that actually diminishes the taste, right? Because if you feel numb, you can.
It's not very
feel.
long. It's like you still
Oh,
can-
maybe you mean tingly. It just.
between them. Yeah, you still can feel pain, but can not painful, not very painful. Yeah,
Sounds so funny.
that's why in some state of US they don't allow to import the Sichuan pepper.
Why?
I don't know.
No, it's
And some people told me they can't. In some state they banned the Sichuan pepper because they don't understand it. But for us, it's we eat.
Is it something
day.
natural?
Natural. It's a pepper, like black pepper, red pepper, like just pepper. You can Google Sichuan pepper, Sichuan pepper. Yeah, Sichuan pepper.
Doesn't show anything. Like
Sichuan,
this?
No. SI.
SI like this.
Yes. CHUAN. CHUAN.
And
Yes, Sichuan. Yes.
wait a second. How do you pronounce that?
Sichuan.
Oh, Sichuan. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's got paper.
All right, Sichuan pepper.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so if you eat this, you can't feel your mouth.
Yeah, basically you cannot feel much about your mouth, but it's very good feeling. It's not drug. It's not drug, but just way you eat it. It's so common. And you know
It sounds weird
hot pot is from
because it
Sichuan
sounds like
province.
it would be an anesthetic.
Yeah, this is the word. It's something
Like
you
you,
never
like
know.
you could use it on like a topical smear
It's not strong
before an
enough.
operation.
It's not strong enough to make that, but they can release your pain.
But does it have a taste?
No flavor,
Wow.
just numb. But when you mix some chilies, it can change the flavor. It's like when
Does
you drink.
it allow you to actually not feel the pain of the chili? Do you know what I mean? If you would eat the chili, you would almost cry because it's so hot. But if you use that Sichuan pepper before, you don't cry.
Well, if some people they cannot eat chili, they won't even try it. If you really try it, that makes you feel very bad too, probably.
So it's not.
Yeah, because it's already in your stomach, so you feel very bad in your stomach.
Yeah,
but this is only in your mouth.
That was what I was
it's
asking about.
Not for your stomach. Just in your mouth, you feel long. Yeah.
So do you like it yourself as well?
Yes, I like it. I like it. It's spicy food.
And you say this one is illegal in America?
In some state of US, it's not illegal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably where Chinese people live.
So they have to buy it underground. Because especially like Chinese people, we like eat it very much.
Oh, wait a second. You said that you are from the province of Sichuan?
Yes. Only in Sichuan, no in any otherwhere in the world. Only can find in Sichuan. That's why it's so special.
You mean this pepper?
Yes. You cannot find it any otherwhere in the world. So that's why they can, when you like this, so you can eat more spicy food.
Yeah.
And the hot pot, it's from hot pot,
you
said put a lot of chilies.
Did you say that if you use this, you can eat more spicy food?
Kind of.
So it is because you wouldn't actually be able to tolerate it.
And also you can change the flavor of the chili.
All right.
Yeah. It's very good, very, very, very magic mix. Yeah.
Well, all right.
I don't know how they make up this idea, but yeah, they just.
Well, I would imagine in China you would have probably hundreds of spices available, right?
Yeah, even I cannot name it. Yeah, but this spicy I think is the most spicy, most
popular
special pepper in the world. And it's very popular all over the China.
Interesting.
Yeah, like in some soup we put a little bit.
And for what? Just because you want to feel less of your mouth?
And they put a little bit. It's like the the most famous noodle. We call the Lanzhou noodle.
All right.
Yeah, in that area, and it's a beef noodle.
All right.
So in the soup they put a little bit. Not much, little bit. So you have a slightly taste of this Sichuan pepper, but not strong at all.
But the Sichuan pepper has no taste, right?
No taste, but when mixed with other things, you have mix with other things.
All right. So you have a lot of options, I guess, to choose from, and it seems like you personally enjoy this pepper also.
Yeah. If you like visit Hong Kong, I will take you to try the Sichuanese food.
Really?
Yeah, because you will totally change what is Chinese food. Maybe you think like Chinese food is. I don't know how you think about Chinese food.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I actually don't have really an assumption about Chinese food other than that they eat a lot of rice.
Not really. Come on. It's not true.
On. Chinese people eat a lot of rice. Come on.
It's not true.
So where did all the picturesque photos come where you have those rice fields with people working in the rice fields? Come on.
Yeah, but it's in the south of China. In the south of China, the rice is the staple food, but in the north of China, the staple food is noodle. And the Chinese bread for the bun.
From what type of grain do they make those noodles?
And wheat. Or barley. Or yes, I mean many wheat. Yeah, wheat.
So it's a regular.
Yeah, they made it in the powder and
Yeah,
it's Chinese noodle. But in the north of China, for instance, if you go to Beijing, the chance is that you eat more noodle or dumplings than the rice, because there are people they don't eat rice there.
So if you say that rice is eaten mostly in the southern region,
exactly,
then Hong Kong would be more rice, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then is Beijing in the northern part?
Yeah, like Xi'an, Xi'an is the center of China.
All right.
Noodle city, no rice.
Noodle city.
Yeah, Beijing, yes, much more noodle. Yeah, or the Chinese bread we call the bun. Yeah, it's not like the bread that the typical bread here. It's called the Chinese bread. It's made of also wheat.
Yeah. So it's like bread.
It's very soft.
Like bread.
No, even don't look like bread. You can call it Chinese bread, but you can Google it. What is Chinese bread? Even don't look like bread.
Just write it in.
Just Chinese bread.
Chinese bread?
Yes.
Bing? The Microsoft search engine, Bing.
No, it's not this one. It's
But what is Bing? It looks like disc shaped.
Oh, it's kind of.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That Microsoft
This one is
Microsoft named their search engine after a Chinese pancake, basically.
like Chinese pancake.
Yeah.
We like in a Xi'an, they eat it. They eat it, put it in a soup.
Yeah, why not? I mean, so every wheat product.
Break this bean, break it into very small pieces, and put it in a lamb soup and mix.
Every wheat
Very
product,
good.
every wheat product could be actually used in soup. I think it's very good with soup. I think every wheat product, even crackers.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. In Brazil, they do it.
I'm not sure, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
I would like to try it, kind of not of proteins. It's very healthy.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually just do it everywhere, right? You can just go to the grocery store and get the ingredients, and voila, there you have it.
Yeah.
All right, so southern part more rice, northern part more noodles. So what's the difference other than those staple foods between northern and southern people? Because I would imagine you would have some form of, because usually what happens if you have a large enough country, it usually is the case that the northern part makes fun of the southern part and the southern part makes fun of the northern part. Right?
Yeah. Wow. Yes, we do have this difference. And it's so different actually. Even in different provinces have a huge difference.
Yeah, well, that's normal. Yeah.
So basically we can, like if I heard someone speak Mandarin, I can easily tell if they are from north of China or south of China or from Taiwan. I can easily identify from their accent because it's a different accent if they speak Mandarin.
All right.
Yeah, but they have their own dialect. If they speak their own dialect, it's totally different. Yeah, but it's speak Mandarin. Yeah, they have a dialect, so they have the accent. So I can always tell. For culturally, it's really have to be more specific. Like compare from one province to another province, not from north to south.
No, you don't have that.
I cannot generalize the difference from north to south.
Or maybe you have
in the north, people are taller.
Taller?
They're bigger.
Is it because of the noodles?
They're whiter. Their skins is more white. And in the south,
because it's less sunny, right?
Yeah, and they're shorter, smaller. Yeah.
Interesting. It sounds like you would describe almost Europe. In the north, they are taller and more white. In the south, they are shorter and more brown.
You're quite tall and
but
white.
Yeah, we are in the north. See?
Yeah.
So you've been to Italy, right?
Yes.
So
that's totally
did you see short people?
Can I say I think so? They are shorter. Yes.
Yeah. I think the longest or the tallest people in Europe are the Dutch.
Oh yes.
Have you been to the Netherlands?
Yes.
So what did you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the kind of bigger bones. They're taller. Yeah,
They're probably just more well fed. Probably, because it seems to me the Netherlands might be the best country in the world
because of trade.
Everything, politically, socially, culturally, economically. It seems like they get almost everything right.
Yeah,
because it's a small, very very small place, but so efficient. So efficient at different things. It's quite amazing. But I think they had nothing to do in China, for instance, right? They had probably some colonies in, I don't know, Indonesia or somewhere like that. You don't have any cultural reference to the Netherlands, right? You have Great Britain.
Let me say in China.
Well,
yes. in Taiwan there will be. I'm not talking about Taiwan. There will be colonized by. They be invaded by the Dutch for a while.
When?
17th century.
Uh-huh.
You know, for the Taiwan first was founded by the Portuguese actually.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So the name is Hermosa, and then comes the Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dutch, they're trying to invade it, but the Chinese then come to fight them back. Yeah, and I think they just only and they built the fortress there.
Mm-hmm.
So even they can, if you go to the Tainan in the Taiwan, you still can see the castle built by the Dutch people.
Uh-huh.
But it's like it's only a wall left. Yeah, but it's still castle. It's a fortress to defend. Yeah, but the Chinese then fight them back. I think that's the only thing I can. Yeah.
I asked the previous Chinese dude, so what is up with Taiwan? He said Taiwan is China. Taiwan is China. And I said, wait a second. If it would be China, it wouldn't be called Taiwan. Because there should be a difference. Other than that,
I don't want to talk about this topic. It's everyone has his own opinion. So
he said it's China. It's just China.
For me,
and I said, but why is it called in Taiwan? Right, it would be just China.
I can tell you the history of it. I can tell you what happened there, but I cannot tell you it's part of China or not. It's very controversial.
Well, it is.
I cannot.
Technically, it is part of China because the UN doesn't really recognize it anymore as a separate state.
Yeah.
It only recognizes mainland China as a member of the UN, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's only 70s, or it's not that too long, right?
Yeah,
so what could you say about the history? Because I just know it barely.
Okay.
The thing I know about it, they had some disputes in China, and one group wanted to take the control of the country, but they had to retreat, and then they retreated to Taiwan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to come back eventually, but didn't. So they stayed in Taiwan.
Yeah, wow.
That's what I know.
Yeah, how to say to put it simply, there's the last dynasty in China is Qin dynasty. After the Qin dynasty, it's the Republic of China. They control the China.
And when was that?
It's Republic of China, just like now they call Taiwan Republic of China. In China, it's People's Republic of China. It's real China now.
Right.
Republic of China is actually Taiwan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So after the Qin dynasty, before the People's Republic of China, the new China was founded in 1948.
So after the Second World War.
From the 1912 to 1948, this period, it's the Republic of China.
Republic of China.
Republic of China.
All big China.
Yes, called Republic of China.
Okay, and so what happened after 48?
And then, they're trying to reform to get more to pro-West, to nurse something more advanced. Republic of China.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. You can call them Taiwan now. Yes.
All right.
So their party called National Party. Yeah, National Party. So they're trying to make China more like democracy place and to learn from the West, right?
All right.
Yeah. So they're trying to make some changes. And their capital was in Nanjing. Yeah, in that city.
Okay.
Yeah, before Nanjing, it's like Beijing. Beijing means the north capital. Nanjing means south capital. So their capital based in Nanjing, south capital. Like.
Okay. So what does Jing mean? Capital?
Capital. Tokyo means the eastern capital. Tokyo.
But it has no Jing.
Yeah, but you can write in Hanji in Chinese character, so that means eastern capital.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the capital is Nanjing.
So where's the western? So where's the western capital?
By far, I like to say maybe Xi'an is western capital. Yeah, but it not ended with Jin, but yes. But I think I would like to say it's the Xi'an is the western capital. Okay, from the base in Nanjing, and then after the Japan invade China.
When? In the Second World War?
Yes. Yeah. Japan invade China.
All right.
For 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So during this year, at that time, before the National Party is much more stronger than the Communism Party.
Now, when did the Communist Party actually appear?
Communist parties at beginning is very very small. They are more in the countryside,
but
in the mountains.
When did they start to gather around the Communist Party? When did they start?
When they start, there are two reasons. I think one is sometimes they fight each other, and sometimes because Japan invade China, and then they have to together. The National Party and the Communist Party have to unite together to fight against Japan.
So when was the Communist Party founded in China?
It was founded during that civil war and in the war against Japan.
It was founded in the war.
During that period, because it's actually
so
in the
before
war.
the Second World War? Do you mean before the Second World War? Or during the Second World War, maybe?
I don't know exactly the time, but just that. Just
let's say 1930s, right?
Yeah, at that time. But yeah, they already have the Communist Party, but it's very small. Communist Party is very small because National Party they control all the big cities, Beijing, Nanjing, Shanghai, all the big cities.
Yeah.
So the Communism Party have to go to mountain areas, villages.
All right.
Yeah. So they are sometimes they are friends, sometimes they are enemies.
Did China also have a fascist party?
No.
That's interesting. Because it seems like the National Party was more.
National Party is more pro-West.
Yeah.
The Communist Party is more.
Well, usually when they talk about political leanings, they would say either right wing or left wing. Right? Sounds like National would be more right wing, and Communist more left. On the
right wing means more what?
Usually it means more conservative, more stable economy.
I think in the National Party is not right wing, it's the left wing. National Party is more democratic.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah,
like Communism Party, because Communism parties.
But communist parties are always considered on the left because they are socialist.
Okay.
So and they want to everything for the people.
Yeah.
So that's why they are called left. But in a sense, it sounds like it would be both to the left, but still differences in their approach. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so you can call them that. So basically, there are two parties. Yeah, sometimes they are friends, sometimes they're enemies. Yeah. Yeah, and the National Party take over the big city. The Communism Party are in a small village. Yeah, they are more supported by the farmers. They're poor people.
The communists?
Communism Party, yes.
Because they want to work for
they want to
poor people.
Yeah. Because they're in a village. Yeah. So when the Japan invade China for 8 years, and these two parties they are trying to sometimes at the time they're trying to unite it and fight against the Japanese. They did it. Yeah, but sometimes I think the Communism Party they did much more than National Party, because they're. You mean
in the war?
In the war, yeah, against Japan, yeah, because
they had more weapons.
I think because for National Party, the Japan they occupy the Nanjing, the capital city. Nanjing, I told you the
north capital.
The south capital.
Nanjing was
Nanjing is south capital. Beijing is north capital.
Oh, already.
Nanjing before is the capital of the Republic of China. Yes. So National Party they have retreat from the Nanjing to Chongqing or other cities. They choose a temporary capital. They move to very far west.
So Chongqing would be the temporary
temporary capital during the wartime against Japan because the Nanjing was occupied by the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese kill a lot of people there. Probably if you go to the Nanjing, yeah, you would go to the museum. They said to have a massacre like a Holocaust. Like the same thing happened in China too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's another story. Yeah, but so do you want the people there? They really wanted to fight because they're
the communists or the national.
The people, the civilians, people,
right.
they want to fight.
All right.
A communism party, they help them to fight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, especially they gathering the people in the villages
Mm-hmm.
to fight against the Japanese. But the national party, they flew to Chongqing. Yeah, they just retreat from the big cities.
Yeah, sounds like a reasonable strategy.
So that's why the communism party is more supported by the civilians.
Well, during
the national party during wartime.
During the wartime.
So finally, after 8 years, China win the war against Japan, and the next two parties begin the civil war.
All right.
Communism party, national party fight each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then communism party because then they already have more supported by the people, so they win, and so national party have to flee to Taiwan.
Do you mean elections?
No elections, just
how
literally
did they win?
Fight.
Uh-huh.
Just fight.
So
Civil
like
war.
So like a
They're
civil
stronger.
War. So like a civil
because
war.
more people support them. Like for instance, if I choose between the national party or communism party, I will choose communism party. I want to fight for them because they help us to win the war against the Japan.
So like a civil war.
Yes, a civil war.
Right.
It's just the two parties. They all want to take over China. They don't know the results.
Why didn't they just want to share?
Impossible. They have so different ideologic. Like communism party is based on it's a left wing, and the national party is more pro.
No. What I mean, look, you have, let's say, nowadays you have North Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just choose to have North China, South China, for instance?
Because now at that time, I think after the war against the Japan, communism party they are become more. They control more places at that time.
So they didn't want to give up.
Yeah, so I
the
think they
territory.
already after the war it's more things more goes to the communism party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they win eventually. So in the 1949 they founded the New China, the People's Republic of China, which was ruled by the communism region, and so Taiwan.
So wait a second.
Republic
so
of Taiwan,
before that, the territory was called just Republic of China.
Republic of China.
1949.
And it's People's Republic of China. It's different.
But what changed?
The party changes. The party changes. Before the leading party is the National Party.
Do you mean that did they have more seats in the parliament, or what changed?
I don't know how to explain. In China, it's totally different politically. They win the war.
But you have a parliament.
They are the leader.
But you have a parliament.
We don't call it the parliament.
You have a parliament.
Kind of. Yeah, have the same function as the parliament.
Yeah. But you don't call it the parliament?
No, I don't think we call it parliament. Like something else. Yes. We don't have this word. It's parliament like for the democracy thing.
But you have politicians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically in China the decisions are made by 7 people.
What? In China? Nowadays?
Right now, yes. Communism party, all the decision was made by 7 people. Yes.
Are you sure?
I cannot tell you more.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The decisions are made by 7 people?
Yes. There's this. Yes.
I mean, it sounds in a way convenient, because 7 people is not that much.
Yes.
You don't have the risk.
Yeah, the good thing is
of
more,
having too much negotiating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But who are those 7 people then?
There is a community. There are 200 people in there. They choose 7 people. The 7 people make all the most important decisions in China, like political, diplomatical, military.
And what does the president of China do?
President of China, they're doing everything. Military, control everything.
So is he one of those 7, or is he?
Yes, he's one of 7. Also, prime minister is also one of the 7.
Oh, so when you are one of the 7, you might be also the president or the prime minister.
One of them are, yes.
Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's a council. So you have 7 people. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you would have just the same structure as ministries. Let's say in Latvia.
We're familiar with the Western.
I mean, we in Latvia have, let's say, the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Education, and we have I think either 7 or 8 maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe 10. Don't quote me.
But they are the most important person. Like they can.
Yeah, and they have the ministers, right? They have those are the persons who go together. I think every week or so, and then they have those meetings where they decide what to do.
Okay.
Sounds the same.
Is this democracy?
Well, no country in the world other than perhaps Switzerland has real democracy, right? Because Latvia is not a democracy; it's a republic.
Yeah.
Right. We have in our constitution that it's a democratic republic. But I think you can argue that it's still a republic. It's not a democracy. A democracy is something different than a republic. Those are 2 equivalent systems, right? You could, because otherwise you could say you have a republican democracy, right? But
so
it's not really.
Is that like, from my understanding, like democracy is like everyone vote, like republic is like few people vote?
Yes.
Okay.
And the difference between the republic and democracy would be that you have sort of as a citizen you have a sort of a political vote, and then your representative is the one who actually makes the decisions, but he has no real obligation to you. It's not like I voted for you, you need to do this and that, and no, I voted for you, you go ahead and make decisions and I have to deal with them. If I like it or not, it's a matter of the particular situation.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, I wouldn't call it because usually when they try to describe the political system, they say indirect democracy. Go figure, right? No, I think nobody really knows what that should mean.
Okay, republic system. Okay. I think most of the country they have this.
Yeah, because you see. I think the only country in the world that has a lot of writings about such topics is America, because the founding fathers specifically wanted to avoid the democracy, because they wanted a republic. They wanted the United States of America to be a republic. So that's what they want, because they didn't see that a democracy would actually work. If you want to involve all the people in all the decisions, you would get chaos, right? It's not effective.
I kind of agree with it.
They had the previous experiences from other places to look for. So because around the same time, I think France had its 6th probably revolution or whatever. I mean, they had some learned people. Right about that time. So yeah, I guess they chose it specifically for that reason, to be more stable as a political system.
Yes, and sometimes more stable.
But see, there comes the turn in a sense, because at that time nobody could have guessed that somewhere in the future you could have all the world's information in your palm with your smartphone. Nobody could have guessed that, right? So maybe
it's changed so fast.
Maybe in the future a real democracy would be something that's even that could be effective, simply because everybody is connected, everybody is online. You never know.
But it's easily to control by the media. That's also caused one of the problem.
Media?
Like Russia have. They could intervene the US votes.
But look at it this way.
China can do the same thing.
But you look at it this way. Nobody really under the age of, let's say, 25 really looks at media. They they have some form of information or entertainment or something like that, but they really choose. I mean, do you look at something that you don't really want to look at during your day?
Not really.
See?
Yeah. So yeah.
If you don't want anything, you just scroll down or just close it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be when you switch on the television. What comes, right? Something you might enjoy, something you might not really be interested in.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore. Now
they could change. Yeah, even something that you're interested, they can change your view if they keep on have a different view and improve it, and people would.
Of course, you have the option to see some information that might change your attitude or your opinion, but then it's a topic that you are interested in the first place. So it's not like you scroll on your smartphone, you see something totally uninteresting, but somehow or another it gets your attention and now you become interested. It's not like that. It's like, oh, this one is related to the topic that I'm interested in. Let's see what it says. And then maybe you changed your opinion or whatever. Yeah, that could be the case. But you are interested in the topic in the first place. Right? You know what you like. You know what you are interested in. And everything in the world that relates to your interests might be something that lets you, define your opinion more and more. So, I would say, because I've heard of China that that you use a lot of phones to pay. Which sounds really interesting, because I don't think we have that.
You have it.
You mean when you pay by phone?
Yes. One of my friends showed me. I don't know. I met a traveler from US. He told me he pay everything here, like mobile payment, but I don't know what application he used. It's like the similar way like in China. They show there's a code, they show their phone and they scan it, pay for it.
Yeah, maybe, but it's definitely not that popular.
I think that China make it very popular. Yeah. So it's happening in China. It's almost changed in 1 month. Like we're become from a country that use cash to a country with no cash at all, and it's become right now, especially in the big cities, we don't use cash at all. Yeah. It's a quite good progress we made.
Yeah, it sounds really convenient.
Yeah, I think the one reason is China has the restrictions on the high-tech companies in China, so we don't have Facebook in mainland China. We don't have Google, Facebook, so we only have two biggest companies. One is Tencent, one is Alibaba. There's only two companies. These companies they become kind of creative things. They mix a lot of things together. If you look at our so we use WeChat. That application is really, really good application. It's like a all-in-one application. They have the mix function of like Facebook, Twitter, Airbnb, even PayPal. So like to mix all the application just in one application. Yeah. So we can do everything with that application. Like for instance, we can make a payment, we can transfer money to my mother. I can open a shop. I can have my own small startup companies. Yeah, sell something I don't need on the internet. Yeah, I could it's like Facebook. We also we can check we can post something on it. I can write a blog on it. I can get money. Yeah. So it's basically like they learn from the US or other countries, and they combine all the ideas together. And in China it's possible because there's no Facebook and Google. If we have Facebook, they probably cannot do it. It's because they are the they don't want this to happen sometimes. Because they're number one. But in China, because we don't have Facebook and Google, so these two companies they can have their own creative things. They made up this application and made this spread all over the China. Now it's become so popular. I think now this part is one of the progress we made. Yes, but not. I cannot say it's very, very high technology, but we just make it popular. Yeah, so we have to see the good side. And now some Western media, they just say too much. Say China will take over the world. They say how China's technology
Do you believe
improved.
that?
It is, but not to that extent will dominate the world. But it's really some part. It's they spread faster, or even I think they are more advanced than in European countries. I think this is true. In some
Well, the
part.
technological infrastructure should be.
For yeah, I think
It
so.
should be. Because you are.
I believe in it.
Yeah, because the economy is more developing than the Western countries. Because the Western countries had the big problem when after the Second World War, the big economies built their infrastructure, and so now when technology-wise it's all so dynamic, they are not so fast to actually change because they have the old infrastructure that's still costing money. And if you would like to adapt to the new, it costs a really lot of money. So they are not really willing to do that so fast. Whereas the new economies, of course, we have the best available. Let's take the best and go with it. And it's just,
in
and
this
it's
way,
just,
I think,
and it's just. I don't think because I've heard of in Latvia people guessing, well, maybe the Chinese will come and buy Latvia and come to Latvia, and I said, they don't need to. I mean, it's not like it's not like they don't have enough space in China.
Chinese
or
are everywhere. So
that's what I mean.
I'm not surprised if they're in Latvia.
It's not really related to anything. And but speaking about Chinese taking over the world, I don't know. Remember, I talked to another Chinese dude with this about this. Do I understand correctly that it used to be the case that the official policy was the one-child policy, but then it got changed to two-child policy?
Yeah, they changed it again recently.
And so now, what's the number?
It's also two-children policy.
But what happened when people wanted more children?
They get a penalty.
No,
They get a fine.
But it's not a big deal then, right?
But you could get very, very high fine. Depends on how popular you are.
How popular?
Yes, like if you're a movie director of super popular, and you get much more higher fine than the
because you make a lot
people.
more money, right?
Exactly.
Oh, so it's not that big of a deal still.
Yeah, because there's once a very famous Chinese movie director, and he was secretly found to have so many children, and he get a very, very, very high fine. Yes. So I don't remember the amount, but it's really very high fine.
No, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. But before it's like that. Yeah, and now if you don't have two children, you get a fine.
Oh.
It's the opposite way. Yeah, like if you don't have the two children, you won't get subsidies from government, like you are raise other people's child. So we are always make fun of it. Why the policy changes so fast? Before it's one child and two children, and now it's, if you don't have two children, you have to raise other people's child.
Wait a second. Now you're saying that they want people to have
they promote
3, 4, 5?
No, but just only two. But they promote people to have two.
Specifically two.
Yes, not three, but two.
Well, then I guess you could, because it sounds like only one, only two, just two, and now maybe in the near future they will say minimum two. It sounds like the progression would be onto that part.
How about in Latvia? Do they have the policy like to promote people have more?
Well,
children's?
if you ask about whether or not they have some benefits for people who have more children. Sort of, yes. I mean, you get some tax reductions.
Okay.
You get some something related to. I'm not sure whether or not it's the payment for school or payment for an underage child. But yeah, you get some additions to your salary and some tax reductions somewhere else. Yeah.
So I think here basically government still promote. They want people to have more children.
Yeah, it's specifically designed for that.
It's very low birth rate. Yeah, because
Well, I guess the reason for low birth rates is just that people are not really living in an established economy, right? Of course, you have
Yes.
people who are
Mm-hmm.
quite comfortable,
Yeah.
but you have lots of places in Latvia who really only get by, if you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, we had what is it, 20, a bit more than 25 years of independence.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely getting better. But it's
Mm.
difficult to tell what's the I don't know, the main issue, right? Because it's not
Yeah.
really related to money,
Yeah.
but it's
I think
definitely related to the comfort of living.
yeah, it's the quality of the living here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's better the government spend more money to increase the quality of living, and people they will automatically maybe they want more children.
I think it might be also culturally related because I don't know. I don't know how the mm, average pattern in China is. For instance, for founding a family and then creating kids, but in Latvia it's definitely shifting. For instance, my brother, for instance, and my father, they had their first child at 26, 27,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm almost 29 and I'm still without a child, right?
Oh yes.
But you could say professionally,
They prefer to have children at the
yeah,
older
I mean,
age.
well, but you could say professionally, at this age, way ahead than they were at those age. So it's more of a career than a family issue. And I think it's for many people, but it's all of the Western countries.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I don't know whether or
Basically,
not
yeah.
it's something that's useful in the long term, because I would imagine that in China you have all sorts of different scenarios. People having their first children at 18 and people having their children at 40.
I think basically people's mentality is different from in the city and in the countryside. I think very different. In the
Well, because
city, especially in the Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, these big four cities in China, the cost of living become higher and higher.
Mhm.
And if they have they have to have two children. It means they're financially they have more stressful.
Mhm.
Yeah, to have two children, and they cannot enjoy their life a lot. So they prefer to have not more than two. Yeah, just one maybe is good. But in the countryside, people are, especially some people are not well educated. They prefer to have more children, especially they want to have the boys to do the farm work. I think it still happen in very very west, very remote areas in China. I think it still happen. Yeah. But you say this difference is changing, but in the big cities, people don't want more. Yeah. So more important is the quality of it, but not the quantity of it.
I'm not sure whether or not the biggest difference might be the case that China might have a totally different attitude towards marriage or towards relationships, because it seems to me that in at least over here it's getting more liberal. I mean, think about it this way: 50 years ago, it was almost shameful to get divorced.
Yeah.
Right now, the divorce rate is it's like 50%. So every second marriage is getting divorced.
In here?
Yeah. Well, it's also in Western Europe. In America, the same. I think it's because of you have more liberties. You have more freedom, so you just do whatever. It's not like you will be chained to somebody. I think that might be related, because I definitely know for the most part of my schooling and for the most part of my workplaces, people were coming from separated families. Well, meaning that they either lived with their father or their mother, but their parents were divorced.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a trend in China too. Yes, my family is my parents divorced at a very very young age.
And how was it socially? Was it acceptable?
It is acceptable, but for me, it's quite tough time for when I was in high school and middle school, I was quite
Why?
act very strange sometimes. I would easily get angry, and sometimes I don't talk to anyone.
Wait a second. If you get angry, it's not a big deal.
But I really don't act like a normal child because of. I think my parents' divorce have some negative impact on me for a while. But after the high school and when I grew up, I learned more about it, and now I'm quite comfortable with it without any problem. But when you're very young, yeah, I think especially when your parents fight a lot, yeah, it's really bad for your children. Yeah,
It really depends. It depends. Because think about it this way: people divorce
yeah,
because they don't get along, right?
yeah.
But then again, they got together because they got along. So it's a communication issue usually.
Mhm.
I don't know whether or not that leaves some permanent marks on children.
Yeah, but it's very bad for the childrens. They could learn from the parents, especially when
I
you
don't
fight. You know, the children are very sensitive. They could learn from you. They have bad temper. They also have they also fight too. Yeah, also they be quiet too. Yeah, this could happen. Before I was doing some volunteer work in Hong Kong to help the single mother family children. Like they are all raised by their mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they all have some problems. So especially the mentally problems. Yeah, most of them are very shy. Just don't want to talk. Yeah, they need.
What are you saying?
They need some people to help them. Yeah, then in Hong Kong they have this association to help these people. Yeah, we're doing some kind of collect money to help these children.
But are you saying that children from families with both parents, they are not shy?
No, children, their parents are divorced. Yeah, and they're raised only by their mother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's.
And you say those children are many times shy.
Yeah. Most of the time they're shy.
But you can find shy children also in families with both parents.
Yeah, but they're just extremely shy, or they're just too extreme. Yeah, that's why they need to help. That's why they need to help.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. I've never seen that. That a child is too shy, and I've never seen that. I've you know what? I've seen the opposite.
That's the way they want to.
I've seen the opposite. That let's say a boy is raised only by his mother.
Yeah.
And then he's too loose. He does some things that are out of control, right?
This also happened, yeah. Just based on my experience, most of our children are shy, too shy. Yes, they stay away from all the networking. They just want to be alone. They don't talk to people. Yeah, most of the people.
Sounds like a well-disciplined child.
Yes.
you just put them in front of the piano and just let them start playing.
Yeah, but they really need help. Yeah.
But what do you mean by helping? Because a shy person is just somebody who usually thinks.
It could change. I'm pretty shy too.
Well, look at it this way: if you are considerate, if you are polite, right, it's not really shyness.
I'm totally different when we were in a high school, and right now I'm like a different person because I'm growing and I growing in different environment that change a lot. Yeah, and I know how to adjust it, but not everyone know how to adjust it. Yeah, especially when they're in a different environment and they
I guess I could imagine what you mean, because
then something negative factors will add up to their head. If they're divorced and they went to a new place, if these two factors come together, children don't know how to handle it, and they just like crashed and just
And so what's the risk?
They behave very weird, or behave strange, or behave like very, very like fight. It could happen. But
it's just children. Children are either fighting,
or
they are just doing some things on their own.
Usually they are the reflection of their parents. So usually how their parents act like, and they will act like their parents.
Are you sure? So I've never seen that.
I'm not an expert on it. Just talking about
Well, definitely has. It makes a difference, of course.
Yeah.
It's just that usually, if you ask me, for instance, what happens to those people who are coming from divorced families?
Yeah.
Usually they are more considerate because they have seen, let's say, that a bad breakup means a lot of fighting, useless fighting, discussions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they themselves usually become more communicative. They become more aware of those things. Usually that's the case what I've seen. For instance, people.
Yeah, that's a good side. Yeah. Maybe in China we have different culture.
Would you say there is a stereotypical Chinese culture? Because I would imagine China is just 100 countries in one.
Yeah.
Or 100 cultures
I
in
like
one.
to see China region. Yeah, that's the countries that have influenced by the Chinese culture.
Was it the case that Chinese people, many Chinese people genetically are related to Genghis Khan?
What?
Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan? Genghis Khan.
No.
You know the Mongolian.
No, we are Han Chinese.
Because I think that was the statistic that he was
maybe related.
He was invading a lot of countries.
Yeah, they are. I think in the Europeans, I have Turks. If they are Hungarian, I think their ancestors probably from that area, the Huns or. Yeah,
I think they spoke directly about China.
But China, we are more pure ethnicity. I mean, for Han Chinese, pure.
What is Han Chinese?
We call our Han 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 Chinese. Yeah, it's like ethnic. Yeah, we're pure Chinese, Han Chinese.
Yeah.
They do have some maybe there, especially in the laws of China, because they mixed. Yeah, during that time, especially in China, we have some very special areas in China.
Yeah.
Like Inner Mongolia, Xinjiang, Tibet. These areas are Ningxia. These areas are very different from Chinese. Their majority are not Chinese. They're minority groups, or they are mixed, so they could have different. But for Chinese, if you mean majority of Chinese, we're Han Chinese.
It says about just the world.
I think I do have some like blood from Mongolian. I agree with it.
Yeah, it just says about the world population, not specifically China. Yeah.
In China, we're kind of we're a country have really long history and civilization. Most of the time, we are our own country.
I don't remember who said that, but somebody recently said to me, "But look, China, it has more than 5,000 years of history."
Yeah.
And the only thing I asked him, but why didn't they invent the internet first? See what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
At some point, like the technology is more advanced. At some point, it's not. It depends on like China's most to prosperity dynasty.
Traditionalism.
Yeah, like during the Han dynasty, China has very prosperity at that time. Han is 2,000 years ago. Yeah, from more than almost 2,000 years ago. Yeah, during that time. Its technology is very advanced. We have 3 inventions during that time. 3 very important inventions like paper. Yeah, to make through the bamboo we made the paper.
No,
yeah.
I mean Egypt had also paper, just a different kind of paper.
Oh yeah, from what I learned. Yes, yes. Just talking about from what I learned. Yeah. So we have the 3 Asian inventions, and at that time, China doing trade through the Silk Road. Because China have the discovered the Silk Road, so they have a business connect with the Western world at that time, and it's very prosperity. Yeah, they do a lot of trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, They sell a lot of silk, and through that road to the western part of the world, and the western part of the world also they sell a lot of different kind of product to China, bring their people, change the culture of things, and then they connect each other. Yeah, so we call our Han people. That's why we call our Han Chinese, because during the Han Dynasty, it's one of the very important dynasty. We make 3 inventions, and we are
so what
very
was
prosperity and the Silk Road, and also the Buddhism was introduced during that time, more 2,000 years ago. Yeah.
So wait a second, wasn't the origin of Buddhism in India?
Yes. Yeah, and at that time they were introduced through the Silk Road to China. The capital is Luoyang at that time. Yeah, so they introduced there, and they built their first Buddhism temple. It's called the Baima is the first Chinese official Buddhism temple.
Okay.
And from there they have a lot of some Indian monks. They travel a long way to China and to promote the Buddhism. And
so either way, the Han was just a dynasty.
Yeah,
right?
It's a very important dynasty in China. It's because they have made a huge progress, and it's much more at that time it's very, very, very prosperity. And another dynasty is Tang Dynasty, which is
why did the dynasties end?
Which dynasty?
All of them.
There's some trigger of it. And there are always some trigger with it, because in China, most of the time, because of the other part of the group are too strong, then they are trying to invade China.
They were fighting against each other?
Yes, or because it come from the inside of the kingdom itself.
Yeah.
Because they have some crisis. Some people they want a coup, like. Yeah, it could happen, or from outside because someone invade, like Mongolian. They fight for 30 years. During that time, Song Dynasty, they fight the Mongolian for a long time, but they lost. That's I think the only time in China we lost this land actually. In all other time, China, most of the time they conquer the Mongolia, and the Mongolia they conquer China only once.
Yeah.
That's why it's still now if you name Mongolian, they don't like Chinese because of this history. Because China, most of the time,
it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
right?
Mongolian time is 15th century.
Yeah. So it was a lot time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, it's quite a long time ago. Yeah, but I'd say Mongolian also have bring something good. Yeah.
Pretty something good.
Yeah, they bring something good to China too. Actually, I think in a way.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would imagine nowadays in the 21st century, Chinese, Mongolese, Indian people are really not that much in conflict with each other. I would imagine.
No. We conflict a lot.
About what?
Political reasons. Yeah, we all do we have
because I mean, those are all just developing countries that don't have anything
we
to
have
fight about.
We have a problem with almost with all our neighbors. Yeah,
maybe when it comes to some natural resources, because I've heard about the South China Sea.
Yeah, territories.
Yeah, and I get that. Everybody has those. If you have some form of naval pathways, you want to control them. But everybody has that. America has them. Those issues. I think technically even Latvia has some issues.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of factors when come together. Yes, like territorial conflict, historical problems. Yeah, economic conflict.
Yeah, but nobody remembers the history.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. You probably have met in your life some Mongolian people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you consider those are the ones who did something wrong? Probably not.
We don't, but probably they think a different way.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, because this is very. If you ask Mongolians, really Chinese are not welcome, very very welcome in Mongolia.
Maybe it's just the antics, like an anecdote. Oh, yeah, those Chinese people. Oh. See what I mean?
It's
I know
complicated.
that Indians and Pakistan
Mhm.
have some issues, and Kashmir is the one place that really has some physical violence
Yeah.
attached to it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it would be difficult to imagine. It is. Don't get it wrong, but it seems so out of this out of the picture to see Chinese people acting violent. Because usually it seems that Chinese people are always trying to be very disciplined. But then again, you are more than
some
1 billion people.
Historical problems. Like China and India have a problem with not only territory conflict, but most probably is Tibet problem. That's the
But
most
is it related to territory problems?
huge problems.
But Tibet isn't related to India, right? It's related only to China, right? They don't have any relation to India. Tibet was never
They do have a serious problem.
with India.
Yes.
Tibet.
That's why Tibet caused the problem of China and India.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I know that Tibet wants to be independent, right?
That's
so similar to Taiwan. They would like to be independent.
Yeah.
But I've never heard India being involved in any of that.
Because the Indians support the independence.
But don't almost all countries support Tibet? I think so.
But India especially support. So that's why the problem is.
Oh, you mean they finance?
Not only finance,
they pay money?
they provide everything for
the
refuge.
Well, finance. That's finance, right?
And they have their own village. Yeah. And the
So-
Dalai Lama. A lot of problem.
Actually, but
Yeah.
the Dalai Lama, what's his ethnicity? It's not Chinese, right? Because it doesn't look like Chinese.
Yeah, it's Tibetan.
Yeah, it's a different kind of ethnicity, right?
Yes.
Or do all of people in that region look like?
And it looks different.
Is it just related to the mountains? Because it's a mountain region, right?
Yeah. It is a mountain region.
Yeah.
Yeah. It have its own history and culture for a long time.
Because look at yourself, for instance. You are coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I look at you.
Yeah.
I think, all right, Chinese person.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to tell whether or not you're from the north, from the south, from the west, or from the east. I say, all right,
It's
Chinese
okay,
person.
Yeah. Even
right?
we
But
cannot tell.
if I would have, let's say, an Italian,
Yeah.
I would say, oh, he's probably from Italy, or maybe from the Mediterranean,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would see some signs that say, oh, he's from where the sun shines a lot, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same from Scandinavian people.
Yeah.
Scandinavian people, all right, yeah, I can see some.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they are really stereotypical, with
Mhm.
blonde hair, tall.
Mhm.
Right? Sometimes it's just something in between.
Yeah.
You know what I always asked
Yeah.
myself: how come the Chinese or Asian people don't have any other hair color? What's the reason for that?
We're not blonde here, but for Arabic it's the same.
No, what I mean is, if you go throughout Europe, right, you can see brown hair, blonde hair, dark hair, black hair, right?
Dark. We're black here, I can say, right?
Yeah, but in Asian countries, it's always only black. How come?
Ethnics, that is. The different kind of ethnic have different.
See, that's why because if you talk about the long history of China, for instance, right?
Yeah.
You definitely had some people mingling between
of course.
China and somewhere else.
Yeah.
And still,
They do.
only black hair, only black
We
hair.
do have like really,
What
really,
about-
really rare, like really rare Probably they have one in the 10,000 people. They have one, but it's really really rare. It's not.
You mean another hair color?
Yeah, they could have blonde hair, but it's really rare. Or have curly hair. We don't have beauty. We don't have a curly. Curly hair maybe is
Wait
more.
a second. Are you saying that they are natural blonde Chinese people?
I think yes. Oh, for us, we think they have a disease or there's
Let
more
me just-
related to the. Yeah, probably
I
could happen
haven't
because
heard.
they are mixed. If they are mixed, yeah, it's rare, very very rare. Do have.
Naturally blonde Chinese. Well, this kid looks like.
Right? It's good happen, but it's
Yeah, pretty interesting.
The chance is very very low. When it comes to this, we always think they are special and like we, yeah, because they have blonde hair. If they have blonde hair in China and it looks Chinese, and it definitely will cause a lot of.
See, this little girl looks pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, there are many ethnic groups in China, so yeah. Like here, you can also find someone have the beer.
All right.
Yeah, it's quite common, right? I have a beer, and black hair. It also could happen here.
What you mean, black hair?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean,
in
you have
Latvia, I think still possible, right? They
black
could be
hair?
yeah.
I think
tartar or something.
the most common color is brown.
Brown, yeah.
Definitely, the most common is brown,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, you could have black.
That
Maybe-
you,
maybe
like
some
you're
blonde.
blonde, natural brown, yeah.
Well, I'm probably more brown, light brown.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, actually, I used to have when I was a kid
Mhm.
more blonde hair,
Yeah.
and let's say the children of my brother,
Mm-hmm.
they have blonde hair
Yeah.
for sure.
So-
Except one. One has
Uh-huh.
red hair,
Oh wow, red hair.
ginger hair. Yeah.
Oh. Yes, do you have in Nordic countries ginger hair?
Well, it's
In
difficult
Germany?
it's difficult to tell whether or not it's related to the Celtic people, you know, because
Yeah.
many people say that Irish have the most red hair.
Ah, yeah.
Irish people, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
I think usually, I
Uh-huh.
think when it comes to these things,
Yeah.
it's more related to your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at that particular time you had, let's say, a lot of a particular vitamin,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe you were deficient in one vitamin, or maybe you had
Mhm.
a lot of metal
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I think it's
Ah.
more related to that. I think it's just a chance. Maybe it will be this,
Ah.
maybe it will be
So
that.
you mean you can change if you change your diet? You can.
I would
probably
guess
can
so.
change.
I would guess so.
So how can I change my eyes? I want to.
No. After you've been born,
Okay.
I guess that's about it. But don't they usually say that small babies change the eye color? It's a
Oh,
really
really?
common thing.
Oh well, I don't know yet.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think
Uh-huh.
yeah, many times
Okay.
people say that. Let's say a small child is born, and maybe he has blue eyes, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
After 6 months, green.
Wow. That's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's only that one time. It's not like every 6 months they change the
Mm.
eye color. But
Oh,
it's
is it like
definitely
the green and the blue? It's quite similar. Sometimes you cannot from the sun angle of the night. It's different color. Like some people in one day I saw it's blue and sometimes another day it's green.
oh
Green.
well,
That
no.
depends on where. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
guess
light.
it's more
Yeah.
optics than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, it could happen. Yeah. But for us, for Chinese, we don't have blue eye, green eye.
No, you have.
I have just very rare, like one in 10,000. Like, yeah, if you're 1 in 10,000, it's really like not common.
Wait a second, but if you say 1 in 10,000, it would in China. What's the proportion then?
I'm just saying maybe there's higher, yeah, there's a lower ratio. I don't know it. Just talking, yeah, because I I don't know any of my friend who have blue eye, blonde hair. That means
so
or they just dye their hair. It's not real.
yeah,
not real.
that doesn't count.
But for the eyes, I never see a Chinese have a blue eye or green eye. So I think this is very small.
1 in
chance.
10,000. That's your guess.
I think more. Maybe I think maybe one in
1 in 100,000.
Yeah, maybe 100,000. I guess because in my life, my whole life,
So
I haven't met
that
one.
would mean you would still have around 14,000 people.
It could be if this ratio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? Yeah. Yeah, but for us, it's really
Yeah, these ones are fake.
blue eyes.
Those are
It's
just
really magic for us.
acting white, acting black, Asian child with blonde hair.
Just like a gold.
Well, this one just looks retarded. This doesn't look healthy.
Yeah, I think some probably have the healthy problem.
Yeah, that's a health problem.
Yeah, but I think
But this one looks funny. This one looks funny.
like a rock star.
Sort of. Oh,
Oh wow, really?
but that's not an Asian person, is it?
Asian.
No, it's not an Asian person. No,
Maybe Asian.
that's on the border. Yeah, all right.
Wales could
Some have blonde Asian hair.
Asian.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what's your next trip after Latvia? Where do you
We
go
go
next?
to Estonia, the Tallinn, and then Helsinki, and from there I will go to Netherlands and then Belgium. Yeah, and then
Do you use drugs? Because the Netherlands
Never.
would be a good place.
never.
Well,
I have a different way to make me happy. So
look at it this way: China probably has some form of drugs. Yeah, probably some form of drugs, popular drugs, right? Let's say in Europe,
yeah,
it's mostly alcohol,
uh-huh.
right? So
Alcohol is drug.
Hmm?
Alcohol is also drug. It's kind of like
oh, so yeah, so Asia has also, China has also alcohol.
most of the Asian countries have very strict rules on the drugs. We consider most of the things are drug.
You mean other than alcohol?
Like weed, marijuana, and
Well, yeah, I mean those are
it's
mostly.
a quite mild one, but in China still considering drug.
But wait a second. Wasn't the opium wars in Hong Kong?
Yeah, opium side. Yeah, they have the no in Guangdong province. They have a opium war before they.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
The
I
Western
would
want
guess
to-
culturally opium would be good to go.
Yeah, but it caused a lot of trouble before. Yeah, during.
Well, it caused a lot of trouble because of the British, not because of the Chinese.
Yeah. So we are. I think in China, in the big cities, people are. I really stay away from the drug. We are well educated about it, but in a small city, maybe a lot.
Oh, so wait a second. Are you saying that opium products are illegal in
Of
China?
course not. Most of those in China have very strict rules.
No,
on drugs.
that's what I'm asking.
very
Most
strict
opium
rules.
products are illegal?
Yeah,
Really?
of course it's illegal.
Why are you saying of course? Nothing is of course.
You probably heard about that in Asian countries have a very strict, very strict rules regulation on the drugs.
I usually thought that Asian countries have the least restrictive rules about drugs,
No.
except
the-
Singapore.
Singapore is crazy strict.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a small
in
place.
China it's death penalty. Yeah, most of the time death penalty if you're
But wait a
drug
second.
dealers,
But wait a
it's death
second.
penalty.
But wait a second.
Yeah, death penalty.
The golden triangle between
Yeah.
what Burma
Yeah.
and
That's
whatever.
called a problem. Yeah, one of my cousin died of taking drugs. I'm from very west of China, so near the border with Myanmar.
Mhm.
Not near, but just 100 kilometers from Myanmar. But in that area, there's more drugs than other part of the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have the cousin died of it because he's really addicted to it, and in the end they have to reject it. But it's really
Do you mean he died of an overdose, or just bad drugs, tainted drugs?
take drugs too much.
No. I mean, well, you mean overdose?
What is overdose?
Taking too much.
Yes.
Because the other thing might be that the drugs were not pure,
and
that they were dirty.
Also, maybe the drug he take. I don't know what kind of drug he take.
Yeah. So I would imagine. Look at it this way:
Mm-hmm.
most people in most parts of the world use some form of recreational drugs.
Yeah.
It's just part of human nature.
Yeah.
You go to Africa, you will see some drugs. You'll go to Latin America, you'll see some drugs.
Yeah.
You go to any other part, you see some drugs.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought Asia has a liberal. Most of Asia would have some liberal rules.
It's under control.
But wait a second, no, it cannot be that you have so much strict rules, because I've seen those videos where small children are smoking cigarettes, and
we don't have the restriction on the cigarette, but we have very very strict regulation on the drugs.
That's
even
funny.
Singapore is extremely.
Yeah, those are
and
totally...
Thailand too, and the Philippines. You see the news? Thailand. Yes, Philippines. Did you see the news before?
Wait a second. Thailand is one of the most popular destinations
can get it,
for.
But it's
maybe it's officially very very strict.
Yes.
But practically,
before,
because a lot of people go to Thailand specifically to do illegal things.
You see before the news, the one two Chinese, they travel to Bangkok, and there are some strangers want them to help them to carry one luggage, and inside a lot of drugs. And when they enter into the Thailand, the customs found that they have a lot of drugs. And it's death penalty like in Thailand. Yes.
And it's supposed to be a Buddhist country, right?
Yes, but they are very strict on the drugs. Yes.
But then it means that they are only strict in those in some particular places. Because I think
even you can get it. You can get it.
Because I think especially French people from Europe, for instance, especially French people like to go to Pattaya.
Yeah, but you can get it.
And that's a lot of drugs.
Because you know that area, yeah. The Golden Triangle, they still produce a lot of drugs. So yeah, like the Philippines, they say they're in the Philippines, their president they really fight against the drugs before, and they arrested so many. You probably see the news, and then they arrested so many drug dealers, even some civilians who take drugs, and kill them. And then Obama accused the Duterte, the Philippine president, of they dispute the human rights problems. Yeah, but the Philippines president they still do it. They believe he's right. You have to deal with the drug problems, but it caused a lot of controversy because it's not a
solution.
Yeah, because they kill a lot of people. Yeah.
And why are those people actually
controversial? But
taking the drugs?
They are not well educated.
Do you think it's really related to
I think
education?
they should really well educated about it. Like which drug is mild.
That's why you will find out when you go to the Netherlands.
Yeah, I will find out.
Because those people are educated and they are still getting high. This is not really related.
At least they know what won't get addicted to it, what is not do a lot of harm to your body. They know the basic things.
But isn't
like marijuana is very popular since you can in California now it's legal.
But wouldn't you say that addiction is a matter of definition? Because what constitutes addiction? Simply because the fact that you want to use something, so what? Right? I mean, because usually when it comes to at least I've heard in Latvia that the word addiction mean that you would basically that the fact that you are doing it impacts your social surroundings. Because addiction, look at it this way, you are addicted to food, to water, all those things, you cannot live without them, right? So if you introduce another part in that, let's say you have food, water, clothing, shelter, and then you have psychedelics, for instance. Why would that psychedelics be so strange to the other four? Because we didn't get born into a home, in a sense, right? We just evolved as a species to build buildings, to build apartments, to live in apartments, for instance. But it's not natural. It's not like a biologist could come to you and say, well, you are supposed to do this and that, and you are supposed to wear clothes, right? No, it's not really. It's something people just wanted to do because they thought, oh, it'd be better. It felt better. So I do what feels better. And it's we call it useful, right? But it's still the same.
But maybe you will change your mind if you see someone who is really addicted, like my cousin, how they died. The whole process.
I've seen.
You will be really.
You know what?
I've
seen people who have alcohol problems, but I always concluded one thing. The only one thing. Those people don't have a physical addiction problem. They have a mental problem of they think of themselves too much. They take themselves too seriously. That's what I've found out, at least for those I've encountered.
Sometimes when they lose their mind, when they get addicted.
You can
like mental problems.
Well, you can definitely. I mean, there's definitely some substances that can actually mess up your brain. That's for sure.
Yeah, they damage their brain. And,
But see, that's
and then they did something really.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You have the option for you. You can go to a grocery store. You can buy, let's say, a diet Coca-Cola, right? What does it have in it? Aspartame, for instance. Now, you have people in lots of places saying aspartame actually causes brain defects. Is it true? I don't know, because nobody can test it in a sense that now we can take you, put you on a diet Coke regimen, and then see whether or not it happens, right? But people gather data, gather information, and then say it seems like there's a correlation, right? But it's legal. But it's legal if you want to. If you like the taste, you can go and buy how much you want, right? But maybe it's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, it could have some negative effect. But I think I'm not against people who are taking drugs, but I think it's better to really have a good education about it. You know what's the risk, you know what's gonna happen, you know what kind of drug it is, and then you can take it, enjoy it, no problem. At least you know it. I'm just afraid of some people when really they are like pushed by someone to do it, or they're too young and they're not well educated about it, so they are Then they went to the wrong way.
Have you been to Russia?
Yes.
So maybe in the big cities, you will be able to see in the subways people sniffing glue or something like that.
Sorry?
Sniffing glue.
Sniffing glue.
You know, glue, something to stick. Glue, which is a substance that you use to, for instance, if you want to permanently attach a paper somewhere, or either. Well, let me just show you what I mean.
This
is a stick of glue.
Chemist? Okay, it's like something to stick.
Oh, well. What I mean is, for instance, if I want to stick this to that, I put the glue on it, and it holds, right? That's glue.
Okay.
So, but it's So yeah, that's what it's for, and you have fair amount.
Why they use it?
Well, because it's a chemical. It has if you sniff it hard, right, and then if it's sort of fresh, you can get a buzz.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a legal product.
But it can help you to because you know it's a
you can
a medicine. It's a
no not a medicine. It's a total chemical, right? It's a chemically synthesized material, but since it has those chemicals in it, and if you sniff them, you can get a buzz, like high,
dizzy.
dizzy, and some euphoria.
Wow.
And it's not just about glue. You can smell. I've seen documentaries about Russian teenagers who
really I can't believe it.
Who
can get high from this.
Who take a small plastic bag and they pour paint. I think it was either gasoline or paint, just like wall paint, right? Paint, and then they fall over.
Wow.
I mean,
maybe there's some chemist reaction or something happened that make you high. Okay, that's
that's definitely something chemical. But then again, you see, it's a legal product, right?
Okay.
You can go and buy it in every store, right?
Yeah.
But if you use it in a different way, it sort of becomes a problem. But the problem is not the product. The problem is the approach you use it.
Okay, wow. You shouldn't let me know. Now I'm interested to try it.
Well, no, look, the reason why they use it is because it would be difficult to get to some bigger drugs, right?
Okay.
It would be more difficult to get cocaine or heroin than to just get glue or paint or whatever and then sniff that. But so it's not really related to them being educated or not. It's probably related to them feeling uncomfortable in their life. And again, I'm telling you, what I've seen, those who are addicts, they usually take themselves too serious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you've probably seen, you probably have met people. You've met a lot of people, I guess. People who think of themselves too much. They think that the whole world is watching them, in a sense that they are so important that everybody is judging them.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
When in reality, nobody really cares about them. In a sense that you are just one in 7.5 billion people in the world. You are not on the spotlight.
But sometimes they don't cause a lot of. I mean, they have no trouble to deal with, and they just kill about.
It's an escape.
Much.
It's an escape.
For them, maybe far from me, it's not a big problem.
Because when I wrote
they don't cause me trouble.
when I wrote my master's thesis in university, I was writing about psychoactive substances, the regulation of psychoactive substances, and so I went for a couple of months. I went to the Narcotics Anonymous meetings. You know, you have Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and then you have Narcotics Anonymous meetings where people who have been drug users, and it could be different sorts, right? Amphetamine, heroin, cocaine, all this. Former drug users who go to meetings and then discuss things, right? And so I went just because I wanted to see, all right, who are those people? What are their stories? So went because it's free, it's open to society. So I just went there for a couple of months, and basically that's what I saw. People thinking that the whole world is watching, and that it's so much pressure on them, and so they needed a relief. And so the relief came in the form of, some form of drug, right? And then after they used those drugs, they concluded, or they saw that they had left their family behind, or didn't really fulfill some expectations, and so they felt even worse,
Mm-hmm.
and then they started did more drugs because they felt even worse.
Yeah.
So it went into the spiral. But yeah, the only conclusion I got was, dude, don't take yourself so seriously. Nobody really cares about you, right?
It's more like a mental disease. Have some mental
I'm not sure it's a disease. It's just basically. Do you have a perception of people who have different attitudes? Let's say if you go to a region in China, a particular region, do you expect people having a different attitude than somewhere else? Because usually you say you go to Spain, right? In
Yes,
Spain,
I expect
people
that different.
act differently than in Latvia
Yeah, yeah,
in many respects, right? So
yeah.
it's safe to say that
Yeah.
there are differences
Yeah.
in the attitude.
Yeah, it's quite different.
So do you have the same, let's say in China, that you expect, all right, if I go there, people will be more like this and not like that?
Yeah, so we do have a stereotype in every province.
But sort of,
Yeah.
it's probably
Uh,
based on reality, right?
Based on the reality, yes, but sometimes not about their how they act, about their habits or something. Yeah, like a combine of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, some are not very very bad stereotype. Like I think these people from this province are always liars. Yeah.
Do you have that?
Yes, I cannot say which province. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We have
yeah,
the
yeah,
one
that's
province.
normal. That's
One
normal.
province. In this province, we have a stereotype that most of the businessmen are cheating.
That's normal.
Yeah, like bad.
Happens everywhere.
Yeah, and I say these people, some part of China, like they don't like people outside. Like they think they are arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do have. Yeah, we do have this stereotype, and in some part, like they have like in Sichuan province, we say we have especially the women that have a very bad temper because they eat the spices. Yeah, so sometimes they hit their husband.
So what does the husband do?
Husband like this. Yeah, because they're afraid of their. Like a stereotype that the husband are afraid of their wives.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they have this stereotype. So it's kind of stereotype, but maybe it's not. Yeah, if some different like a habit or.
What's the population ratio? Because I don't remember whether or not it was about China or not, but somewhere it was the case that there was too many men against too few women. I don't know if it was for China or somewhere else. That for every, let's say, woman, there's 3.5 men or something like that. The population, the
in Hong Kong have
demographics.
much more women than men. I think here the same, right? Here has much more women than men. I heard about
I think we are 50-50.
And I heard someone told me, I don't know which country, but maybe not here. Maybe Estonia or somewhere. Yeah, they have much more women than men. They have the the higher ratio of
I've heard that
women to
about
men. Just in the Baltic countries. I don't know which country, but I think it's one. of the
women to men.
Baltic
I'm not
countries.
sure, but I think I saw a documentary or something like that, where it said that in China there was 3 men to 1 woman or something like that. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Maybe in a village, not in the whole China.
Oh yeah, maybe
In a village.
maybe it was in a
Because
particular
they
region.
won't
Yeah.
they won't stop until they get a boy. But not explain. Then it can be more girls. Anyway.
Oh, I see what
But
you mean.
I think
yeah.
in Hong Kong it's much more women. Women is more than men. Yes.
Just because the birth rate is more for women.
I don't know. Just according to the statistics, there's more women than men. Yeah. Like 108 women to 100 men. It's not that imbalance, but still, yes, there are more women.
Fair
Yes,
enough. Fair
yes.
enough.
Yeah, that's it.
We did 2.5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
So when can I expect you to be home Now it's 2018.
When
do you plan to be home?
Oh, I haven't think about it. Maybe after the Chinese New Year next year.
Which is when?
It's on February next year.
Oh. Well, that's in
I plan to go to New Zealand on next February with my family. We want to have a Chinese New Year in New Zealand. So I have to figure out a way from here, from Europe to New Zealand. It's quite a long way. And after that, maybe I think I want to stop for a while because I traveled almost 2 years and really need a break.
You mean you started traveling in 2016?
Yes.
Wow.
Really long time. So I really need a break. I travel very fast. So I like I said, four days in one city and move to another city. I never stop. Yeah. Sometimes 3 days in one city and move to another country. That's why I can visit so many countries. I still say there are some countries I want to go back again.
For instance?
Yeah, there are a lot. Like Cuba, yeah.
What's interesting in Cuba?
Oh, it's a long story. I was fascinated with their system. Their lots or communism. Like they haven't really opened their economy. They're still part of economy. They're still kind of communism, but they're trying to open. Yeah. It's like the openness of the market is only like 30% or 40%. It's not like much. Yeah. So have something very special system there. You need some time to get used to it. And for
what's the second
country?
No, second currency.
The one is called Coop. One is called Cook. Okay, so basically the local people, they use the Coop, which and this government makes everything super cheap, like really really cheap, because in Cuba the salary is almost like similar for everyone, between $15 to $25 a month. So very low salary. Everyone is the same. No matter you are the doctor, you are a professor, you are a driver. Yeah, so everyone have the same salary, and to survive, so everything's government have the subsidies for their products. So it's not market economy at all. Yeah, so have a very high subsidy for it. So if you buy a coffee with 1 cent. $1 1 cent.
Sounds good.
A beer like 2 cents. If you go to the local bars, it's really 2 cents. There's no mojitos. It's just the local beer is super super cheap. All right. So I do some research there. I can survive there with $15 a month if we don't calculate the accommodation. Yeah, I can survive there with $15 a month. Yeah.
And when you take into account the accommodation.
Before accommodation is more complicated. You have to stay with because the casa particular. It's like they allow some local people to do small business. All right. So there are a lot of all communism now. They're trying to open its economic, trying to have some private companies. Yeah. So they allow their local people to open their home to receive the foreigners, but they need to get a permission. That permission, it costs like, I forget the amount, like $60 a month or something.
The guest needs to pay
so they need to pay this money to the government. Yeah, to get this license. After they got license, they can receive the guest. You can like stay in a family. Usually we pay $10 or $15. You can find a pretty good one. Yeah. In Cuba for one night with a single room. Yeah. And yeah, so for the landlord, they have to give every month they give like $16 to the government and also 10% of the revenue to the government. Yeah. So now they're trying to open the economy. Yeah. You'll find that very interesting. And they also they opened their tourism industry. There are a lot of tourists to go to Cuba, and the local people, they found it so unfair. Especially like I met people in a university in Havana. Yeah. Some dentists, they only earn like $20 a month. How can they? When they know the world outside, they were never satisfied. Yeah. Right. Why I earn only $20 a month? I can easily get $20 from a traveler a day, and I don't need to work for a whole month.
Yeah.
This typical Cuban people doing right now. They're just approach to you and they're trying to get some money. But I really understand because everything for them is it's expensive, especially for before it's for $3 for 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible for local people to afford it. Their salary $15. How I can afford for $3 1 hour internet?
Yeah.
Now they lower to the $1 1 hour, but still super expensive for them.
Well, it would be still expensive for anybody.
So I some Cuban friend just write to me on the Facebook tab, ask me to help them to top up. Yeah.
So it's basically begging.
But I understand. But everything at Cuba is like in the 16th, everything's like a tight travel machine, and you probably after 10 years their system will totally open its economy, like China. Yeah. Now there's only few countries don't open, like North Korea, that really 100%, not 100, like 90%, like 90% communism economy, like in North Korea. Like Cuba is like 60%, like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like before I went to the Belarus.
Yeah.
I think it's still.
Also, how's it going in Belarus? I was wondering that.
For me, I really like there. Yeah. Because I think some stereotypes here, like for the Western media's always, they say the Belarus like the last dictatorship in Europe.
Well, it is. Yeah, it has the biggest influence by the president.
Yeah. So before I went there, I thought it's like same like Cuba.
Oh no.
Yeah, because in this world
it's
there's
more social.
Yeah, but when there I found is they're much more. Their economy is it's a market economy, but not fully open. Like less open than China. Mm-hmm. China is more open than Belarus economically, and for trading is good actually. For trading, it's not that bad. So everything like is much more better than my expectation.
Oh.
I think people have a certain degrees of freedom, not as bad as in like North Korea. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even I can say better than in China for freedom part. Mm-hmm. But for economy, openness of economy, I think China is much more open than in Belarus. Belarus, I ask for local people, they still for the gasoline price. The government they heavily subsidy for the gasoline price. Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually when you say how open of you will say how government subsidy for the state-owned companies, how for the local foods, mm-hmm. How they allow the small business, to private business to operate in their country. Yeah. So I think Belarus is it's quite interesting country to visit, and people are very nice, food are good, and cheap. Really,
what is
good
cheap?
For backpacker. They're compared to their service. Service is good and price is low. That is perfect, right? Yeah, it's perfect. And I went to an opera in Minsk. It's a very good 3 hours like Italian opera. It only cost €3.
All
Can
right.
you imagine?
So
and it's not very bad seat. It's a very front seat.
So what about food, accommodation?
Food. I think they more have mixed influence. Yeah.
No, I mean about prices.
Prices. I like to say it's one of the cheapest country in Europe.
But not the cheapest?
It's cheapest. Even I feel like cheaper than Ukraine. It's cheapest, like same like a Moldova or something. Really, really cheap. Yeah, I think like the cheapest country. I mean, the cost of living is very low, like in Ukraine, Moldova. Yeah, Belarus is really cheap. I know in some Balkan countries, very cheap too. Mm-hmm. Like Bosnia, that's countries. It's quite cheap. Yeah.
And the standard of living?
It's quite good.
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
that's what I hear, but I'm not sure.
I mean, it's quite good. Yeah. Why? I just don't understand why their government they just close their country. I have no idea. I just no idea. And I checked their GDP. I was shocked by that. 1/3 of their GDP is about the sales, the gas, oil and natural gas. They buy natural gas from and the oil from Russia and sell to Europe. And it's very low margin, very super low margin. And if the Russian lift the price, and they cannot get the profit, so they're heavily rely on the Russia.
Yeah.
Yes, really heavily rely on the Russia. So for most of the part, I have to stand on the Russia side. Like even like Russia took the Crimea, they have to stand on the Russia side because they have no choice. Because the economy was heavily influenced by the Russia. They're trying to. I think that's one reason they want to diversify their economy. So they finally last year they opened this country. Yeah.
What did they do?
They opened the tourism. Before you cannot apply for the tourism visa.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure they just made this change. But I don't know if you, because
That
you are very
sounds
close to the Belarus. I'm not sure. But before, it's almost impossible for people to apply for tourism. Right now, there's only very few countries you cannot apply for tourism visa. Only in apart from Africa and some country in the war. I think the only country is like Saudi Arabia, Turkmenistan. It's the only two countries you cannot apply for the visa. I want to visit, but for Saudi Arabia, I have to try the visa because they totally don't accept the tourism visa. Yeah, it's too difficult. I want to visit very much, but I need to find out a way to visit. Yeah, most of countries are open. Even North Korea, you can travel to North Korea with a tour.
Some part of it, right? I think they have a specific
Pyongyang and a border city with China.
I think they have a specific area.
Russia.
Yeah, I think they have a specific area where they let the tourists come, but they have those guards. If you would like to make some tour on your own.
No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend you to do that.
You mean North Korea?
Yes.
I mean, you wouldn't see anything interesting, I guess.
It is quite interesting.
Because they won't. Yeah, but you won't be able to see the everyday life.
It doesn't matter. Just talk to the guide. The guide knows everything.
No, maybe.
I'm very amazed by I traveled to North Korea last year, but I do have something problem in North Korea because my guide unintentionally damaged my passport. My first page of my passport, which have my face picture, was damaged by my guide. So he feel very guilty, and so he told me a lot of what happening in North Korea is so interesting. And
so what's the interesting things you've heard about North Korea?
Maybe it's about some also Western media. They don't tell you they all have the negative side. They don't tell you any positive side.
About North Korea?
Yeah, but I do see some positive. How they manage their country with a little money. Imagine you're North Korea.
Well,
you're Kim Jong-un. How do you manage money with a little money?
I would say I need help. And maybe some good friends from China or other countries will help me.
Even China cannot help because they have pressure from the US.
Who? China?
China have So China at the point they suspend all the trade with North Korea because of the pressure from the US. So like they're totally isolated from the outside the world. But how they manage?
But that's a dumb move, right?
Yeah. And they have to spend 90% of the money on the nuclear weapons. It's a crazy country, but they still manage very well. In the Pyongyang, everything's
when it comes to, for instance, North Korea, I would always like to stick to some conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me logical, more logical than just a dude being the authority and then deciding all things. I would like to hear the story that actually the Americans planted the government of North Korea, and then it's just it's all a show. It's all a show for the rest of the world. So that they can do whatever they do over there.
Yeah,
because it's totally isolated. You don't know what happens there.
Yeah. You only know from the news.
And see, that's that's a big value, right? You talk
even news from China and news from US totally different. What we say news in North Korea is totally different. What you see the news in here.
You talked about Cuba, right?
Yeah.
Americans have a military base in Cuba. right?
Yeah.
And many things that happen there are not known to the public, right? But it's but it's still a different
China also have
jurisdiction.
one.
What do you mean? In
Inside
Cuba?
Cuba, I found the Speak Chinese project for the port.
In Cuba?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of Chinese there because I went to Santiago de Cuba. It's where salsa dancing from, and everyone think I'm working there as a construction, for construction work because they think I'm doing this. Yeah.
But it's like immigrants in Cuba for working?
Yeah, they just go there for complete that project for a big port in Santiago de Cuba. Yes. Yeah, I think I don't know, but probably transparency. You can.
Sounds more interesting.
Building something
Sounds more interesting.
to monitor the U.S. It could happen. Yes. Yeah. So like U.S. is so
Actually, by the way, I also would like to think that actually China is not controlled by Chinese people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to think, and you know why?
Yeah, sometimes.
You know why? Because I think Nixon was the one who actually, together with Kissinger, allowed the diplomatic ties to be established with China.
Mm-hmm.
And then the globalization process really began in the 80s or late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most big capital holders in China would be actually owned or funded by Western either companies or private citizens, whatever. But that would be my guess. The biggest capital is actually held not by in China. That it's actually held by non-residents.
It's by government. It's most of China, a lot of state-owned companies. There are a lot of.
So what about, for instance, the Apple factories? They had last year big news that, look, in Apple factories make up safety nets because some people want to do suicide in those factories, right? So who owns those factories usually?
You mean the Apple?
Yeah, well,
company
the factories, for instance, where they make products for Apple, Nike, whatever. Who owns those usually?
That one could be really private ones.
Local people?
Yes, that can be local ones.
But those are basically only just agents for foreign companies, right?
No, they're just they're shareholders. You are asking what's a shareholder of the company, right? How's you mean how many parts are owned by Chinese government? How many parts are owned by the private? Is this your question?
Sort of. Which part of the economy is controlled by the government? For China government, they opened most of industry. Recently, because from you probably see the news because the China and the U.S. trade war, so China opened the car industry. I've heard about some Trump decisions that they want to put tariffs on Chinese products.
They already have the tariff on the more than 200 billion value products.
All right.
For 10% tariff. Okay.
All right.
And so China trying to open its economy more. Yeah. So they few months ago they announced they opened the car industry. Before, for car industry, if a foreigner you want to invest in China, the maximum share percent you can get is 48% shares, that you cannot be the biggest shareholder. So now they changed the rule. So for a foreign company, you can have 100%. And they also opened the financial sector. Before, if you have for instance, banks, insurance companies, asset management companies, you can only you can also have 49% for foreigners. Now you can have 100%. Yeah. So then trying to open more economy. The only industries don't open are energy and telecommunication and and like some high tech internet. Yeah, this one they don't open. Most of the things are open. Open means if you're Chinese, it's totally open. Actually, if you're Chinese, you doing business in China, you have much more freedom than you are in abroad.
In what way?
In the way, there's no regulation in China. In China, our way is just do it first. No regulation until when you have some problems, let's solve it. Because a lot of
sounds risky.
Yeah, China's do. That's why Hong Kong, they have a lot of regulations. They don't have the mobile payment because they have a regulation on it. They have a lot of this safety problems, a lot of problems. Like they cannot pass the regulation.
Yeah.
But in China, do it first. And if you want to do small business, I support you. China, they have when I travel for this trip, and I met some Chinese guy in a hostel. They're all doing business. They're all just sell something, you buy something abroad cheap and sell it higher in China. They're all doing this business.
Yeah,
I was really
sounds good.
And they think I'm doing this too. So I'm not. I think I'm the only guy. I'm not businessman.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah, they're all doing business. Like in China, it's like for there are a lot of Chinese students in Hong Kong. They're also doing business, small business, because they sell something. In Hong Kong, it's a free tax. So for all the imported goods are free of tax, except for the liquor. So most of the Chinese students, they buy the things in Hong Kong and they ship it to mainland China and sell it. But it's kind of an illegal way, because if you cross the customs, they have the chance they will ask you to pass, but a lot of people doing this. Yeah, so they buy something cheap in Hong Kong and sell it in China and have a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, some very high profit, like iPhone, very high profit before, very high profit. But now maybe it's lower. Before, because of in China have a tax and also have the currency. Yeah. Before the Chinese currency is very strong. Hong Kong currency is lower, so here in Hong Kong it's cheaper. Yeah, to buy the things and sell it in China.
All right.
Yeah. So basically, like in China, they have a very good environment for the startup companies. There's a lot of high-tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
The city in Hangzhou, it's very near Shanghai. That city is China's high-tech city.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Silicon in US. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because Alibaba also based there.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Alibaba is based in Hangzhou, and it's a very beautiful city. I highly recommend you to visit. Yes, it's old city too.
Old city?
It is old. It's just it's very beautiful. They have a West Lake. In the history, there are some part of the time the capital was there, but not very long time. Like in Song Dynasty, the capital was there because that's the weakest dynasty in China, so the capital have to move very south.
Mm-hmm.
So that based in the Hangzhou, but it's a very beautiful city. So it's very good for the entrepreneurs, because they have especially the high tech industry. Yeah, have a lot of startup companies. Yeah, so this is I think one good thing in China for the local people, but for foreigners, a larger story. They still have control on it because they don't want to have financial crisis. Before they have in 1997, they have Asian financial crisis start from the Thailand and spread all over the Asian countries.
What did it mean to
because
China?
In China, we have the capital control.
All right.
That means if you want to invest in China, you need approved by the Chinese government.
All right.
If you want to withdraw money, it's more difficult.
All right.
It's not that free capital. In Hong Kong is a port with free capital and free tax. Like all the goods in Hong Kong, all the imported goods to Hong Kong are free of tax.
Mm-hmm.
And also you can easily invest money in Hong Kong and withdraw money without any problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because only totally free. But China is not open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for this part. But even in US, it's not fully open. Like US, they also don't they don't allow Chinese to invest in the telecommunication, also the energy part. Yeah, or high tech companies. They don't allow Chinese to acquire them.
But it's
like
probably
because it's about safety.
But it's
national
probably easy
safety.
to circumvent that, because you could just make up shell companies and then buy whatever you need. It's not like it would be impossible for Chinese
But they
people.
will find out. If you make a shell company, they probably will find out what's the shareholder
It
behind it.
It really depends
They're,
on
they're
how
not
deep,
stupid. Yeah, they will find it. They will find out.
sort of.
Now the U.S. afraid of Chinese buy in their real estate, their industry, especially the acquire their high tech companies. Like before Alibaba, they want to acquire one company.
But I honestly think that most of the money that is being made in China comes actually from America and Europe, probably.
With the trade,
Yeah,
because we have the
trade, and
surplus than we have much more. We import much more than we import. That's why we have a lot of the foreign reserves.
But the only thing is that basically the control of the cash flow and the capital, I would say, is not really in the hands of Chinese, either the government or the private Chinese entrepreneurs. It's really in the hands of foreigners, and probably most of them would be American, because I would guess that the biggest.
Why you have this idea?
Because it seems to me that America was the one who actually brokered the deal with China to open up its economy, right?
Yeah.
Which was 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And American companies were the ones who actually wanted to outsource to China, to outsource manufacturing, to outsource different things, right? Research and development perhaps as well.
Yeah.
So they established an infrastructure throughout, let's say, 20 years. 20 years of infrastructure designed to accommodate the needs of foreign enterprises. China was the sort of the affordable workplace for that, right? But the end product was supposed to be used and the end benefit was to be gained outside of China, right? And I think now it's the time that China has some benefit of its own from all of the but I don't see the control going away.
Control now it's really in the Chinese,
because look at
they're really kicked out of the China.
The one way how you can actually determine whether or not someone's in control is whether or not they could cut all ties and still be good, be going. Americans could do that. Americans could say, all right, we will. It will be
the inflation rate gonna be very high because they cannot find cheaper from.
But see, that's the thing. It's a logistical issue for them. It's just a logistical issue for them, and so it's a small bump compared. But if China would to say, "Oh, well, we cut all ties," they will be isolated.
I will say how the.
As far as
I will tell you what's the structure of Chinese economy, so you will know how big the impact of the economy of the trade war. According to the statistics, China's GDP was it's like 45% are government investment, like infrastructures.
All right.
45% are consumption, like people they just spend money for the food, everything.
All right.
And then only 10% are import and export. Among this 10%, less than 2% are from US.
No, you mean direct links to the US. What I mean is
indirect links.
How would you be able to measure?
How big is the influence of Chinese economy? You just say
how
big it is.
How would you measure indirect influence in a GDP?
Indirect influence is different. It's like the confidence of if like their the other country don't have a confidence to invest in China, or China don't have confidence to invest in US.
But what I mean is that all right. Let's say foreign direct investment from America, it would be 2%, for instance. But what I mean was actually the business environment, the whole capital environment would be controlled from outside, and not because that the doesn't say in all of those pieces. But it's just that the place in general would be designed, since America brokered the deal. It wasn't China who went to America. Americans went to China and brokered the deal to come, actually, to use China, make business, to do business, right? So the infrastructure is designed to accommodate foreign needs, and it doesn't seem to change, because China would be most likely dependent on the, what you call, the trade with other countries for their even for their local economy to function. That's what I'm guessing. Because other than that,
so your
if you would be at one point or another self-sufficient, it would be quite interesting. But I don't see that happening with iPhones still being manufactured there. If iPhones and all of those things wouldn't be manufactured in China, and you are still going, all right, I'll give you credit.
Yeah, they also have a number how it will affect if all the company make the phone part and move to the abroad. It's very, 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 very small. Just going from the whole GDP, just like we can
that's what I mean. You build the cheap parts. The biggest profit is made outside of China. That's what I mean. And see, that's the issue. Because if China would like to be a self-sufficient economy, to change 20 years of infrastructure, as far as I know, because the infrastructure was designed by foreigners. Because let's put it that way. Americans wanted to, let's say, extract some natural resources in Africa, for instance, transport them to Asia, develop products, and bring those to the consumers of North America, for instance, right? It of course, it's quite a rough schema, but still, I mean, that was the deal. What Kissinger wanted. It wasn't like, oh, we will come to China to establish a stable economy for Chinese locals. It was, all right, China is a big place, and they can actually manufacture a lot of things. They can actually be an outsourced paradigm. Local government doesn't come into play too much, right? So they brokered the diplomatic ties. They made those infrastructures, and then now, all right, it's 2018. Trump is sort of getting into tariff wars, or what? But do you think at that point that China can get the better part of the trade war? Because I think that's a real issue in the balance of things.
Yeah, I think statistically it doesn't have much impact, but in the reality, I think bigger impact for the Chinese economy. And if you actually the structure of the product made in China also are changing in the recent 5 years. Before China produced very low value products. Now they are trying to the whole part, like self-sufficient, like make every part of the product and also all the technology to make it.
All right.
Yeah, the copyright is really the core value of the product. They have everything now. That's why the US is scared of China. Before US they invest in China, they tell Chinese how to build the good infrastructure, and China learned from them and took all from them. Now they can build their own things. Like with China, in the recent 2 years, some industry becomes super popular, very competitive, like the smartphone. Before, you could probably never heard about the Chinese phone, right? But in recent 3 years, Chinese smartphones all over the world. Huawei, Xiaomi, it's all over the world.
Yeah, but Huawei was all I think right from the start. I mean, when 11 years ago, Apple introduced their first iPhone. They started the smartphone movement. And 1 or 2 years later, the biggest smartphone producers were Samsung, Apple, and I think Huawei was in the mix already. LG.
But that time, the Huawei have a very low market share. But now they're competitive because their no quality is good. They're competing with the Samsung, the Korean company, and competing with the U.S. company, and also some part like China makes some product more and more high value. They're competing with the Korean, Taiwan. Yes, so it's changing. But there do have some industry China didn't know all the secret. Like for instance, you probably heard about one company. It's called Zhongxin. It's a telecommunication companies. They make 4G equipment. Yeah, and to make this 4G equipment, the most important thing called semiconductor. It's like a small microchip. That's one's very, very high tech, and China don't have the skills to make that microchips, so they have to import from the US. Actually, in the whole world, there's only US can make these microchips.
Because it's patented.
Yeah. So now, and the US, few months ago, US have sanction against this Zhongxin, this company, the telecommunication company. Yeah. And now the Zhongxin, they cannot make any product because without this microchip, they cannot make it. And
still the Chinese manufacturers would be actually in the position
for this industry
to make their own chip. It's just whether or not that would be a reliable solution.
The thing is now China, they took all the resources to make these microchips. The whole country was shocked by this event.
Oh.
Yeah, because we never thought we thought we are sometimes we are not as strong, as powerful as we think. That means, we still have something industry. We are not core value of the industry. Yeah, so we need to do more research on it, and we have to make our product in 1 year. So now China have a plan to make this microchips in 1 year. They put all the invest a lot of money. The government gave them a lot of subsidies.
But all the money in the world wouldn't be able to buy you the know-how, right?
It's just China trying to be self-sufficient.
Because the microchip, it's a patented product, right? So
it took a long process for the research.
Yeah, that's what I mean. An American company invested heavily, probably in research and development, then developed a microchip, patented it, so they have their hand on that type of technology, right? It doesn't mean that other companies wouldn't be able to invent some similar technology or better technology.
It took time. I'm not very optimistic with it, but at least we're doing it, and we spend a lot of money to do it. That's why they're trying to
I think that might be the one biggest
improve the industry. At the same time, some industry have become very popular, very, very competitive now in China. Yeah, that's the thing you will never know. That's why the US are really scared of us. When before 10 years ago, they go to China, they think China is just a world factory, just make some cheap things for them. But now China when they learned how to do it, we know how to do it cheaper, more, and we sell it to the whole world. Like this.
I'm not sure whether or not that might be.
That's why US are really scared of China now.
I don't think anybody is scared of China.
Yeah,
it's just politically China is still a useful ally, right? Nobody's saying that they don't want to work with China, but I think nobody's also saying that they are.
Nobody really on the same boat with China. They really, because they just wanna do business with China, makes their people better, makes their country great.
Well, think about it this way.
They cannot reject China.
No, but think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you look at America, for instance, the USA, right? Mexico is a big trading partner for them. Yeah. Right? But they are not scared from Mexico in any shape or form.
Because China is only percent of their export. Import. Maybe that's compared to US more than more than 60%, but China is only less than 10%. So it's
well, look, if
they have to choose one side.
If you are let's say you talk about U.S. direct ties to China
Yeah.
and to the percentages,
Yeah.
disputing that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is global capital is global for a reason.
Yeah.
They have their seats
Mm-hmm.
either in America or Britain or Europe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's still global capital.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that global capital
Mhm.
is not controlled by Chinese people. I would say global capital usually is
Mhm.
controlled by either North American,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
or European firms or
Mhm.
companies. And that has been the way since the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue that there's no real indication that that would change in the near future,
I
because
mean, you can people this capital flow of the country.
see, capital ownership is the one funny thing
They'll
that's never going to
Pursue
change.
for the higher return.
No, but
capital.
but that's the funny thing. Capital ownership is the one thing that's never going to change.
Yeah.
It's still the same property rights environment that it was 300 years ago.
Yeah.
So in a sense, if you are the owner, you don't really care about whether or not you are incorporated in that country, that country, that country.
Mhm.
You just care that you have property and you make the decisions. You make the shot. You call the shots. I think usually what happens in China, even though it might not be directly related to the U.S.
Mhm.
in percentages, somewhere, it's more related to the execution part
Mhm.
of the business,
Yeah.
of the whole transaction of from start to finish, right? The
Mhm.
execution part. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
that part wealth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that that type of wealth doesn't affect the global capital system. It just affects the local capital system.
Mhm.
I would say so, but because if let's say for
Okay,
instance that
it's-
Chinese people are buying up property, all right, Chinese companies
Mhm.
are buying up outside of China, all right, but still
Mhm.
they're just trying to compete. So that's something related to their local market.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that China doesn't have any opportunities. I'm just saying it still looks like nobody would be scared of China simply because China is the melting pot
Mhm.
for global capital.
Mhm.
Because well, not just China. I mean, many countries in that region,
Yeah, yeah.
right, are just a very attractive place to
Mhm.
put their capital to
Yeah.
work. But if let's say the place is ambitious
Mhm.
and starts demanding whatever, right? It means that all right, you don't want to work with us anymore. So good. Well, all right, we just find
Yeah.
other places because
I
it
think
used.
Hong Kong is acting as this part for
It
the
u- it-
capital in China.
I don't know who said that,
Yeah.
but if it was the 1800s, you wanted to be in New York. If it was the 1900s, you wanted to be in London.
Mhm.
If it was the 2000s, you wanted to be in China
Mhm.
or Hong Kong. And if it will be the 21st hundreds, then you probably will be in Africa.
Africa. Oh, it's like in the movie in Africa.
Well,
India
'cause-
probably. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think India would be able to actually do
Still have a long
anything
time to do.
centralized.
Yeah.
I think Indians themselves say that
Mhm.
that they feel
Yeah.
like 30 countries bind under one flag.
They are not leading country, but they have potential to grow as the biggest.
Well, technically, in
After-
absolute numbers, yes.
Yeah.
In relative
This
numbers,
could happen. Yeah.
in relative numbers, it's critical.
Yeah.
This way, you can definitely find some aspects that are quite encouraging.
Yeah.
I mean, India, for instance, has Bangalore,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, damn, Bangalore. Why is it?
Like Silicon, like.
Yeah, just because Americans wanted it that way. It's not like they
Mm-hmm.
made it up. No, it's just Americans wanted.
Yeah.
Basically,
I think in this part, the US are still leading the world. Yeah, we have to admit they are leading the world. Yeah, for the intelligence part. Yeah, they know how to make the creative part. They are always on the like the trend of the technology. When our Chinese workers make it popular, but they are making another device for the next generation. Probably we'll never think about it. We could probably in the future we don't use our phones, we use our things less. But US are really working on it. China are just okay. We are now working on the phone. We're trying to make it popular over the China and make it perfect, make it all the functions, combine everything. China is that they're doing this. Yeah, but I agree with you in some part of it. We have a lot of to, but it's good things we know what we need to improve. It's just kind of crazy in China.
The way
the government know very well. They have a strategy. They know how to do it.
Well, the way
I'm quite support government in this part.
Well, the way you announce that government actually just is becoming desperate, in a sense that, all right, it used to be one child, now two children, now exactly two children. Now it used to be 48, 49%. Now you can have 100%. It seems a bit desperate, in the sense that you see that the system is not flawless, right? You want to adjust, but you don't know how much is enough and how much will be too much, right? So you just experiment, but the problem is, if you experiment in a closed environment, it's difficult to tell whether or not you were right. You don't have the competition to see, all right, this works better than this, so that's what I mean.
They're doing a special trial in Shanghai. They open an area. It's called a special economy zone in Shanghai. In that area,
I think every country has those.
Oh yeah, it's like the free capital, free
special economic zone. Usually those are just for corruption. Usually those are for corruption.
I don't know.
The biggest gangsters are attracted to special economic zones.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, but I'm talking about how they just make a trial for this economy things when they fully open the economy.
Well, see, that's what I mean. The political argument is always the case. Yeah, we need to make a special space so we can do whatever. But the real motivation, at least for what I've seen over here, for instance, is because somebody who's not a public official but has influence wants that. For whatever reason, but basically it's a push from private interests. So the public officials show it as, well, yeah, it might be really, really healthy for the economy because it allows to, either create jobs or innovations or whatever. But usually, I mean, it's from what I've seen, special economic zones for corruptive businesses. For corruptive businesses who just, it frees them up. It frees them up to do their business more in a wider way. And I'm not saying that
they have a good
a balance
legal system. Like Hong Kong is good. They have a good legal system. They can make it perfect.
It depends, because every person who makes decisions.
If you make a good government, can make it, but a bad government can make it worse.
So you've been so many countries. Where would you say a good government? Where the local people really, really happy about their government?
That's a tough question. I think like Scandinavian countries quite good.
Well, they're living good, but where they're satisfied with their government.
Switzerland is quite good. It's difficult to say. Even they are like say Hong Kong is very developed. Everything is very developed city, very rich, but people are still unsatisfied. I think they concern something else. When their economy is good, they want the freedom, and they're never happy because they are demand more and more, so they're never happy. I don't know.
But think about it. Think about it this way.
Maybe Cuba's the happiest people before they open the tourism. I think the happiest people in the world.
Might be.
North Korea may be the happiest people in the world. Tibet may be the happiest people in the world.
Yeah, but nobody is really praising their government. They
don't care. They don't give a shit about the government. They just live
good. But see,
no one will disturb them.
But see, that's what I mean. I mean,
do their spiritual things.
When the government is the things, right? Then it becomes critical, because the planner should be actually the private businesses. The private citizens, right? The private entrepreneurs and stuff like that. And that's what I mean. When you have, let's say, system sort of predicated to, we will plan this. It's just how much 12 years ago did you plan to have this type of technology available, and did you plan to like? Nobody really planned it. It just happened. So all right. From that we can build this. It just happens on a sort of sprint, a sprint manner. So I mean, I definitely see the potentials. I definitely see the potentials in China as well. And it's just as whether or not, if you mentioned the trade wars, China is really in the whether China has the upper hand is what I'm saying, right? That's the rhetorical question from me.
Yeah, outside the world they don't understand China, but Chinese people, I mean the majority Chinese people, surprisingly they support the government.
Well, it's a matter of pride. Most of the time,
we really benefit a lot. Sometimes we see the progress. Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
We are richer and richer. Our economy is good. Our currency is strong. Yeah, when we can go to more and more country now. More and more country open to us.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what if you would go to probably Silicon Valley, you would say, "Oh, this is the future."
Yeah. That's a different.
So you have, of course, more.
Yeah.
So of course the argument is, oh, yeah, it's becoming better. Of course.
Yeah, you always say better.
It's better.
Better.
It only gets better, but then again, okay.
By far is best.
With whom are you comparing yourself? Right? That's about that. Yeah. And I guess you said it best that you are more interested in not just seeing statistics. Yeah. You are more interested in seeing
how the people
seeing them.
That's more subjective, but it's more you really know more. Yeah.
Now, but that's what I'm saying. You should be definitely not just blogging for the specific financial clients. You might as well be blogging just on a regular blogging site, or better yet, doing some Instagram. Because if you have your smartphone, doing some Instagram posts would be fairly easy. Because I don't know anybody from China who would do that, who's doing that.
Doing a different, just like manage money for people. I'm fund manager, something like that.
See, that's what your basic profession is, right? But
from this part, I can easily get money, because even if you're doing like a travel blog, even you have say 1 million fans, cannot produce a lot of profit. But if I just do the investment blog, because most of my clients they are well educated, they have money to invest, so I can get very high value. Even I have only 10,000 followers, and I can make good profit.
I see what you mean. You the opportunity to have high ticket sales, so you don't need really the big mass of people. You need targeted clients. But what I'm saying is your entertainment value, your informational value is bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So the one does. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? Because if you travel so much, you definitely have the option to just have lots of content. That you can share. Whatever happens. Right? It's not like you need to plan to be like this successful, and by the time
sometimes I'm afraid on Facebook, like if I comment too much, people on different side. If you comment one side and they were just unsatisfied with it.
I don't know if it would be too much to say that it's just you're self-conscious. You're too conscious of yourself.
I try not to comment too much. I try not to don't have my own opinions. I just tell people what's happening. that's a better way. I try not to stand in every side. Yes.
Well, you would be basically the messenger. In certain situations, you just bring the message.
Just bring like people decided, like their own opinion.
But see, that's the beauty of your I would say your travels. But then again, probably if you are traveling more than 2 years, I guess I need to say your everyday life is you can actually spark the imagination of people. By seeing, let's say, Cuba through a Chinese financial asset managers' eyes through on Instagram, for instance. It definitely it definitely creates a sentimental value.
Yeah.
It also creates the potential for any type of business that you might be interested in.
Yeah.
Simply
I
because
just want to write it, but I still don't want to make. Yeah, because I have friends all over the world. I just don't want to judge everything. Sometimes.
no, it's
I'm
not related
right.
to the point.
Yeah.
You're not really judging, are you? It's you are showing.
But sometimes it's very subjective for my idea.
Well, you are showing what you are interested in. Maybe it's
Yeah.
something you would be you interested in because it's so nice. Maybe you are interested because it's so weird. You're showing that you are interested in something, and that's about it. Because the way you described, for instance, Cuba, yeah, it sounded interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't have any visual. I don't have anything that I could.
Okay, I'm good. After my
Related.
description, you can want to visit Cuba. It's really
Well, it sounds nice.
pretty nice. I write something about it in the Instagram or something.
Same for Belarus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard about different things, but yeah, how does it
Yeah.
relate? Especially from a person who says that he wants to see up close
Yeah.
what happens. What do the people do? Yeah.
Yeah. This word sometimes very different from your expectation. Yeah.
Well, but that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. That's why I like travel. Yeah. Always meet.
You can get surprises everywhere.
Yeah. I learned a lot during this trip, especially through the different kind of type of people. Different lifestyle. Oh, it's a long story.
Think about.
I learned a lot from them. Some happy story, bad story, very crazy story. It's really magical, the travel.
Think about it this way: most people who you meet are sort of exactly like-minded, but still on a similar mindset.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
When it comes to travel, when it comes to seeing other places, meeting
Yeah,
different people,
That's true.
experiencing cultures,
Mhm.
it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the internet is to blame
Mhm.
because it
It's
creates
easier.
a sense. Yeah, it
Yeah,
creates
yeah.
a sense of
You really should
availability.
go there, talk to the people, and know it.
Yeah, it creates a sense of availability, community,
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah. So through couchsurfing, you will know much more. Yeah, about this world.
3.5 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I think we
We
gotta.
can wrap it
Yeah.
up.
I just want to get some water.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's a really nice
and so
to talk.
did you answer the question? When is the time you will be back? February next year?
You know what? Right now. I'm looking for a livable city. So I want to live in other countries, but I'm looking for this kind of country. By far, I think Australia is quite good. So I'm still considering to immigrate to there.
You mean living?
Yes.
Permanently?
I'm trying to leave Hong Kong. I like Hong Kong very much, but I don't like politics. And just a mess. They will always fight Chinese government.
Well, if
Everybody
you
heard about that. It's really crazy in Hong
about
Kong.
what?
The demonstration in Hong Kong. Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's a long story.
Dude, we live in Latvia.
I will let you
alright?
later, but just like that's one reason I want to leave Hong Kong. I want to live abroad, more livable city. Yeah. Have an easier lifestyle, which all have this lifestyle which more fit me. Yeah.
It's a dynamic.
So
People don't prosper in static environments. They need dynamics.
yeah. So probably I will never finish my trip until I find one. But
Well, if you mentioned New Zealand,
yeah.
I think most people who say what's the most idyllic place in the world, I think most mention New Zealand.
Yeah. I would say
The Kiwis.
yes. Oh, makes me want to eat some fruits now.
In February next
Yeah,
year.
maybe February, so I will finish. By far my plan is this, but could change it at any
So-
time if I found something.
So you
interesting.
have enough time to create some content for your everyday followers.
Yeah. Yes, I'm doing it. I'm working on it, so yeah.
Yeah, looking for.
By far, just write something very simple on Facebook. Yeah, maybe I do more. Yeah, I take your advice. It's not about you want to become famous, but just to
documenting.
Just to record it because probably I will forget it at some
It's for
point.
you and for you as well.
Yeah, when I travel 2 years, I travel to 100 countries, you probably forget what's happening in one country, what people told you. So I really have to write it down. And
It's one of the reasons why
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually started recording the conversations I have.
okay,
with
this
guests.
is quite. Probably I will do the same.
Because 2 years
same
from now, 2 years from now, you could just watch what were
Okay.
you talking about,
Perfect.
right? So yeah.
I hope so.
All right.
But I hope I can see it in China. We still don't have YouTube. I hope it's really my hope. I really hope China can open more. Yes.
Well,
By far, I'm pretty good with Chinese government. I support them, but for change, that's really surprised me.
it's always the case. They start out conservative,
Yeah.
very conservative, very reserved about changes.
Yeah.
And then it's more like, all right, forget the 49%. Now you have 100%. Let's just do it.
Hope so.
All right,
Okay.
let's just end, right?
So.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Talk to you.
Yeah.